Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Max, back with you again to do another live video today on XRP. So with that said, smash that like if you're from this great world. We're going to start off with this. We're going to start off with the comments. Let's get into it with the one, the only first comment of the day. And it comes from the one and only Mike. Now there's many mics. But then there's this Mike. Welcome, Mike. What begins with an F and ends in a K? Fink. Yes, Larry Fink. You know what? I got something to share with you guys in regards to Larry Fink. It's kind of funny you brought that up, but thank you for being here, Mr. Mike. Welcome. I gotta turn some banners back on. Please smash that like button. It helps get the program out to a broader base. Thank you. All right, so we're just going to pull up all that stuff again. And on top of this, we have, I think, another one that we want to have up on the screen. And there it is, the little ticker. Okay. Brittany's in the house. She says fork. That's a good one. That's actually, using your head. Mr. Boomer Effing Sooner is here. The one, the only Mr. Boomer Effing Sooner. The one, the only Mr. Boomer Effing Sooner. Yes, funk, what was it? Warren G's first album, Regulate the G-Funk Era. Absolutely. You know what I know? You don't want to step to this. It's the G-Funk era. Funk out with the gangsta twist. I remember that. Regulate. Man, you got a lot of stuff. Flock, flick, flank, flack, frock. Jeez. Don't mess with Boomer's F is Sooner and a crossword puzzle or something, right? All right. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Boomer F is Sooner. All right. We got another great member of our community. Mr. Selmo Fudd is back in the house. Thank you for being here. It says Crypto Talk Now. Selmo Fudd. Brittany, say hello. River is up in the house. Thanks for being here, Mr. River. The cat is back, says hi all. I always wondered, has the cat and also Cool Cat Crypto been on the show at the same time in the chat? I don't know. Maybe I missed that. All right. We got a few more to get into. Here, kitty. Oh boy, more kitties. Yeah, lots of you ever notice about our show, guys? Come on, lots of kitties or cats and lots of mics. We should try to come up with a name for like a candy bar. So like Baby Ruth, combine like like a Kit Kat. That's, by the way, that's one of my favorite candy bars, a Kit Kat. I love Kit Kat. And then like Mike or something like that. I don't know. We're going to welcome a few more of you guys. Just going through the comments. We got the one and only Mr. Andrew Davis. He said, what's going on, Max? Love the show. I'm glad that you love the show. That means a lot. It makes it worthwhile. What's up, everyone? Appreciate it. Let's welcome back Jean-Pierre Cormier. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Everyone give Jean-Pierre a warm welcome. Welcome to CTN. Any questions or comments you have, just drop them in the chat. And we have a very welcoming community here. So thank you for being here. All right. Boomer F. Sooner says, well, since my first comment got cut off, howdy, Money Max. Oh, yeah, that happens if you did too early. So, boom. Thank you for being here. I am going to stop at the grocery store before 9. Pick up some hair dye. Anyway, I don't like the gray look. And then if I let it go too much further, it'll be the white look. And I don't like that either. So, anyway. It might look good on certain people, but on me, it just doesn't look too good. All right. Brian Dowie is saying what's up to Boomer. Glad to have you here, Mr. Brian Dowie. I'll try to read as much comments as I can. Right back at you, my friend. All right. There you go. Brian Riley's back. See, another Brian. It's another common thing we're starting to get here at CTN is a lot of Brians. I mean, some of you guys are newcomers, like, just get into the news. But guess what? We're going to get into it. We're welcoming a few more people. Smash that like button, please. Helps us get out to a broader base. 15 likes, not too bad, but we can do better. Brittany's got the 5 stars out for, 5-star General, Eisenhower. I don't know. Anyway, last 5-star General, little known tidbit. Well, you guys know that. Anyway, I'm sure Boomer F and Sooner probably knows that. I'm sure Selma Fudd probably knows that, right? Anyway, yours disappeared too? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, hello, Tim Shea, Mayor of Crypto, the Crypto Commissioner, represent his fellow constituents of the XRP Army, the 589th. Boom, right at you. Regulators, mount up. It was a clear black night, a clear, was a blue moon. Tim Shea and Edward Vincent were trying to consume. What up, Edward Vincent? Glad to have you here. Mr. Squidward, working hard. Yes. Little inside thing to you and Mr. Cornwell. I do have my page up. I did work on it. And I read over a lot of stuff. I'll have to get with Mike later. Anyway, Edward Vincent, thumbs up. Yes, thank you. Mount up. Yep. Good stuff. Brian Dowie says, try saying Vaseline. No Vaseline in the M16. You got to pump iron to feed your body creatine. Going to California. All right. Jay Cryptic says, hello all. Welcome. That's a cool looking avatar. Welcome to Jay Cryptic. We're going to welcome a few more people, and then we're going to get right into some of the highlights of what we have. We have on the agenda, we have some things to talk about the overall crypto market. Bull run thesis update. Finally, that link I was trying to show you guys the last couple of days. I emailed Investor Place, told him, hey, you put all this work into making this, and the it's a 404 error. You got to fix that. So they finally fixed that. That's good stuff. All right. This show needs more Brittany's. It does, don't it? Brittany? I agree. Thanks for always being a long-time support, Brittany. Always appreciate you. Here's a little dab to you, too. Boomer F and Sewer says, every time he sees Dave on here, I think of, it ain't your gang, Dave, from Young Guns 2. Man, I love Young Guns 1 and 2. Probably more of 1 than 2. I don't know. What do you guys think? Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, legend tells us that they were best friends. But, are you really going to, sell out, even for bounty, for money, your best friend? I mean, if you love the guy like a brother, you really going to do that? So what do you guys really think? Do you think it's true that somehow Billy the Kid actually lived? Pat Garrett let him go, but he tried to make it look like he killed Billy the Kid? Or do you think that's just a bunch of Hollywood BS? Makes a good story, right? All right. But I prefer Young Guns, the first one. That was the funnest one. But they're both great movies. And if there really is, I believe Boomer F and Sooner, Young Guns 3, how the heck are they going to do that? I mean, it's the same cast and stuff. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like, again, how are they going to do it? It's going to be a fictional tale. Like Quentin Tarantino did a fictional tale of, how World War II came to an end in Europe or something. You know what I mean? By killing Hitler. I mean, everybody wanted to see him get shot in the face like it was in the movie. Sorry for all the spoilers. But does it really matter? It's not even a true tale of what really happened. All right, Red Tail Crunch. All right, let's go Well, you may not see it, but I see it. But thank you. That's good. That's good. That maybe I could get away with it for a couple more days. I don't know. Baskar, he says, let's go, Jasmine. Well, welcome to Baskar. Consider changing your avatar to something speaks more about who you are and what you're about. And we have a very welcoming community. Let's welcome also Baskar. All right, we're going to jump into this. And GT's in the house. Welcome back. Tim Shea says, wasn't too early. Our comments got erased in 10 minutes. All good, though. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, sorry about that. All right, let's also welcome Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. And I don't know. I mean, what happened? Brittany won something? What was that about? I must have missed that. I didn't see that. You guys are congratulating Brittany. Oh, you had the first real comment today. Okay, that's cool. You win some Shiba Inu Classic V2. Absolutely nothing. Now, I want to report this, okay? We were supposed to have Sean the Crypto Smith on. All right. I sent a message to him many hours ago, and I said, look, there's a chance I might not even be on the show tonight. And I don't think it's fair for you and I that we don't have we need to have our proper research and prep show and so on. While I have things for everybody, right? There's a difference between what I have on the solo layout of when I come on the show right now, and then also as far as like having a two-way conversation. That typically involves a little bit more time. And so I said, let's try to reschedule, have it come back next week. Because for one, I didn't know if I was going to even make it back in time. I wanted to visit my dad in the hospital. And on top of that, it was just a busy day. So, yes, if you're wondering where's Sean, that's what's going on with him. But he was cool with it and understanding. So, shout out to Sean the Crypto Smith. Let's welcome April Cornwell, and then we'll kick it in to what we have on the lineup. She says, hey, happy Wednesday evening. Hope everyone had a beautiful day. Thank you, April. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that as a bookmark. Let's go ahead and get into our outline to start things off. Please smash that like I mentioned. It'd be nice to see if it's tick up in the 30s, maybe in the 40s, you name it, okay? Let me just sip this real quick. Some guava. Some light guava. And let's jump into it. All right. So we're going to start things off with the overall crypto market just for a brief moment. Maybe you guys don't like it, when you see content creators do this, but kind of helps with the outline. So if you've been paying attention to CMC, you'll see that we have a 1.41% decrease over the last day. We were as high as 1.12 trillion on the 1.22 trillion, on the overall crypto market recently, okay? And that's, of course, the highest that we've been for a very long time. Excuse me. Now, getting further into it, Bitcoin, as a BT is still, doing pretty well, still above that 30,000 mark and so on. For the top 100, anything that's kind of like, I should say Bitcoin related is doing all right. Filecoin is up again. I mean, there's so many things to recognize, okay? But we're going to jump into this because, every time there's a big pump in the market, then there's a little bit of a pullback, so on and so forth, right? Even on the fear and greed index, we're at 63. Let's take you to this. And this article is finally fixed, but it's still valid even though it's a couple days old. It's got some juicy stuff in here. It's worth paying attention to. And we're going to jump into this. I'm trying to blow it up as much as I could to kind of make sense to you guys. So there's a lot of, excuse me. There's a lot to get into here, okay? So it says the crypto markets stay pretty hot. This is this week. In reality, you could apply it towards last week, but it's still valid because you're going to see some of the data metrics, and it's all going to make sense here in a bit. So you can call this kind of like bull run thesis 12 or 13. I don't know what number we're at, but it's up in that range. BTC surging to fresh 2023 highs. We saw that up in the 31s and so on. As more big-time asset managers file for spot Bitcoin ETFs, including Fidelity, the world's third largest asset manager, of course, number one being BlackRock. Okay. Also, part of this outline, after we get done with this, we're going to get into some of the recent findings, especially when it comes to some comments from Larry Fink and so on. Okay. So short-term price action in the crypto market is very tough to predict. However, we do love to show you guys some indicators of what's happened in the past, why it's so big. I know some of you guys watch, for instance, George from Cryptos R Us. He pointed out a few days ago a few key things. Excuse me again. Man. But anyway, he pointed out some key things in regards to indicators that we have not seen in a few years and how that's big for not only BTC, but the overall crypto market. So he says, or I should say he says, in regards to this outline from Investor Place, short-term price action in the crypto markets is very tough to predict, like I mentioned. But this following week's developments, they are doubling down on their medium and long-term bull thesis for, like we've always mentioned, this fourth crypto boom cycle. And we've been covering this boom cycle for quite a while. I mean, literally, even before, I would say, January of this year, we were talking about, preparing for the bull run in the bear market. Okay. So if you've been watching CTN for a while, I mean, this is nothing new to you guys, right? We look back the last couple weeks, there's been a few things, right, in regards to the crypto industry. A few of these key indicators represent that the weeks, that cryptos permanently and irreversibly went mainstream. I mean, you even saw a spike for a little brief bit, even with some of you guys who watch the show. I mean, that's how you know things are doing well. Even our recorded videos, like a lot more viewers and so on. Cool stuff, right? We're not complaining. There has been 7 spot Bitcoin ETF applications 2023, and 6, if you've been paying attention, have come over the past 2 weeks, including among those 7 applicants are 2 of the top 3 asset manager firms in the world. Always we're going to mention BlackRock. I mean, if a person's new to this, get used to hearing BlackRock, right? Because they are the world's largest asset manager / custodian out there. Larry Fink is going to say, no, that's not the case. Let's face it, guys. That's probably because of tax reasons. And 2 of the top 5 ETF managers in the world, BlackRock and Invesco. Let's take a look at some of the actual, I guess you could say, data. Okay, so here is the spot Bitcoin ETF applications, again, 2023. You have some of these big names, right? This is nothing that, is flying past the average person, right? A lot of us have been paying attention to this, whether it's on crypto Twitter, mainstream news like Bloomberg, let you see reference here and so on. Here are some of the filing dates. Obviously, BlackRock, Fidelity, and maybe a couple others really, outshine some of the other ones, right? But there's Wisdom Tree, there's Valkyrie. I mean, there's quite a few, okay? These are not small fish, I would agree. I mean, if anything, this is why we pay attention to whale activity. These are among the biggest fish in the ocean, right? There's a reason why they call them whales. And they are staging a full-on blitz to get democratized access to trading cryptos. I should say they're just whales. I mean, they're institutional whales. They are, the cream of the crop when it comes to this stuff. Whenever these major firms stage a full-on blitz, all right, at the same time, they rarely lose. Again, when we talk about the institutional money coming into crypto, we are seeing more than hints at this point about where we are going. That's just the way I personally feel about it. If the whole concept of why a lot of us watch these shows every day or learn about new things through distributed ledger technologies and so on, yes, there's some money to be made on the short end. But the big money is when the institutions come in because they can't have any of that volatility. We've been saying that time and time again. Maybe you guys get tired of me even saying it. It says, Sure, the Wall Street Journal reported, at least last Friday, that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission called the recent wave of BTC ETF filings, quote, inadequate. Some people may feel as though, well, who cares what the SEC thinks? Well, it's worth noting because, like it says, the fine print there is that the SEC is simply asking for more information. It isn't saying no. Now, where are we going with this? Well, there's more. Fight as much as it may seem, the SEC will unlikely be able, or be able to sustain the full court press, like how they put a lot of sports terms in there: blitz, football, full court press, basketball, right? But in regards to that, it won't be able to sustain the full court press that Wall Street's biggest firms are putting on to launch Bitcoin ETFs. And that's why we're probably paying attention to all this. By 2024, it appears that very likely that we will have a few Bitcoin ETFs up and running. Now, is that very, very bullish for crypto? I think it is. Even if you have a few that you recently saw reported not that long ago that they were denied the applications, there are ones that will not be denied. That's just a given. Like anything in life, it's a numbers game. Like I try to tell, even some of the younger kids, right? That when it comes to like even sales, look at it from the perspective of it's like a giant gumball machine. You're going to get through like 20 red gumballs, right? You don't want any of the reds. You want to get to the green. The green are your yeses. Well, this will mark a game-changing moment for the crypto industry. Now, you may be wondering like how so and so on, and we're going to get into some of this key stuff. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. But it mentions that once multiple ETFs make it much easier to trade them, listen to this, guys, you can take it to the bank that a lot more people will invest in crypto. I mean, you could call it like a form of FOMO, call it a form of aping in, whatever the case you want to call it. What do we call these shows? Dyor with Max. Do your own research with me. I do it with you. It's a two-way street. But yes, this is going to increasingly appear to be like where we're entering right now. Point being, because some of you guys want me to get to some of the points about this, more capital, and think about how this sounds, more capital will flood into the crypto industry over the next 12 plus months. More capital means higher prices. And even though I haven't talked about this project in a while, this is why I originally started making a crypto channel. And I was talking about the living hell out of, Clearpool. Why is that? The decentralization of DeFi lending. They provide lots of capital to VCs, right? And VCs or other projects simply need to raise a lot of capital. With that statement about more capital flooding to the crypto industry over the next 12 plus months, more capital means higher prices for what? The market cap for C-Pool, for the price of C-Pool, and so on. Do your own more research if you're interested in a C-Pool. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I DCA'd into that project probably over 8 times. And I still am recently DCA into it, not financial advice. Now, the fourth crypto boom cycle is basically upon us. How so? Well, multiple reasons. We're going to give you more of the metrics, all this stuff. And I know some of you guys like this because you guys are giving me feedback that you like some of these updates. And again, this is a premium service that I have an annual subscription to. I do like showing you guys these specific updates. Check out what it mentions here in regards to the technicals. After clearing the 30K level, the next critical resistance level for BTC is 31.8. Now, remember, Legrand was mentioning some of these key things, not necessarily about 31.8, but he did mention about 35K. He also mentioned 70K. Shout out to Le Commission. Oui. That's who I'm talking about. You saw some of these things at the May 2022 peak. That is, just a stone throw away from current levels. So here's the thing. For all the guys that are still saying, no, Max, you're full of crap, and that's okay. I welcome some of that. It's all right. I don't take it personal. Keep in mind, if we are still going to have the narrative that we're in a bear market, well, you could sure fool me about shifting away from the bearish narrative, right? Are we not too far off from that? So like I said, just a stone, throw away from current levels. Looks to be very likely that we will cruise through that very level here soon. 35K, we get new support, a little bit of pullback. Again, it's kind of like the saying goes, push and pull, or tug of war, whatever you want to call it, right? You strengthen new support lines. For you guys that you're in the TNA, you know about this. I'm not preaching to the choir. Once we do, BTC will be filling a major, listen to this, guys, air gap. And if you watched, for instance, George of Cryptos R Us, he talks about some of these things. He didn't say, quote, air gap, but he did mention words to that effect. He's good with TNA. So again, I'm not preaching to the choir here. All the way up to 35K, the lows from, guys, January 2022. And we knew, or at least a lot of us knew, depending on how long we've been in crypto, January 2022, there were so many indicators that things were going to turn into a bear market, right? That was a major monumental time for that time period. Let's just be honest about that. All right. So in that regard, we increasingly believe that in July, which was we're in the 5th day of July, BTC can and will stage a power move towards 35K. And I want to give this guy a shout out. I don't even know if he's here tonight. And that is the Cool Cat Crypto. He feels like, you could feel something explode. Did he not mention that? Well, let's check it out a little bit more. So, yes, this power move. All right. And here's what some of the metrics look like on this chart. And I got this blown up as much as I could. If I would blow up a little bit more, it's a little bit blurry. So this is the best it looks. BTC now appears ready to fill a major gap 2 levels above 35K. You've seen this. We talked about we get a Fed pause. We already got that Fed pause. And I felt as though it's blast off from there. Did that mean that, Fed pause immediately, parabolic action within a day? No, it doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way last time for 2021. It's not going to work that way now. Right? Let me double check some settings. Make sure I'm good. I am. Please smash that like. Let's see how we're doing on the likes real quick. 29 likes and 29 people watching. I guess that's not bad. All right. So there's some other shows probably going on. Usually on Wednesdays there is. But hopefully you guys, value this information. All right. So like I mentioned, we got that Fed pause and so on, and you see where we're getting some of this new data and so on. It says, while that represents a big rally for BTC, we think the rally in altcoins will be more powerful. How many times have I said that as well? If you have the means necessary to, invest in BTC, maybe you buy a full, maybe you buy a half of one, whatever the case be. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously opportunity in that. Don't get me wrong. But my thing is, same could be applied towards Ethereum if you're choosing to do that. But the greater risk to reward ratio or return on investment is always in the alts. Not financial advice. That's what I'm personally doing. I know a lot of you guys are personally doing that too. Are you not? So, with that said, BTC has dramatically outperformed altcoins this quarter by about 35%. And then this is going to keep fueling the debate, especially for Bitcoin maxis. Then, don't touch the alts. It kind of makes you wonder if some of these guys who are quote unquote BTC maxis, if they ever experienced a previous bull run. Some of them claim that they have, but it's really mixed when you think about it. But anyway, this is something to definitely point out. Like it says, and I'll read this again, BTC has dramatically outperformed altcoins by this quarter by about 35%, which is its biggest outperformance since late. And are you waiting for it? Do you not see on the screen? I'm sure you do. 2020. And that's why I'm wanting to point this out again. Not that I watch George from Cryptos R Us a lot of times, but when it comes to TNA, I think he's really good at that. And he pointed out some of these key things, right? This is some of the indicators they showed were the biggest indicators since 2020. And we knew where, let's face it, I mean, that was the last cycle. Okay. And then, there's the start of that cycle. We saw the height of that cycle, 11/11, 2021. So are we really truly going into this fourth crypto boom cycle? I really think that obviously is the case. Like, Investor Place has mentioned, shout out to Luke Lango, Charlie Shrem. This isn't unusual. Right. This isn't unusual. It's one thing for me to come here and say, I believe that we're going into a true bull market, and just, oh, this is just my opinion, and then that's it, and I can't provide anything. No, we don't do that. I'm not going to do that. That, to me, that doesn't make sense. If, like, for instance, if I teach history, if I'm going to teach these kids about, like, here's the mistakes that people make throughout history, I have nothing to back it up with, then what the heck am I teaching? Okay. So yes, this is not unusual. As the chart below shows, we're going to get to the chart here in a second. Let's pull this up. Well, before I finish some of this, BTC pretends to outperform at the start and end. Listen to this, guys. Please listen to this. Maybe you're just in the chat and it's like, oh, good time. I understand that. But if you do value this show and you do value making money, I think that's the main reason why we're trying to all get to the same. People say that, happiness is not a destination. Okay. I don't know if I agree with that, but I will state this. I do think as though we're all trying to get to that same destination. And that is to, get to the bull market, a real true bull market, height of a bull market. Right. So yes, BTC tends to outperform at the start and end of boom cycles. Usually at the start of boom cycles, BTC outperforms by about 30% to 40% in a quarter. Nowhere is it mentioned or shown at any given time that it's just like, 5,000% up in a day parabolic. That's just nonsense. If you've seen any content creator showing you that, then I guess I would say, unsubscribe from that person because they're full of it. Look at this. Then the rally broadens out to altcoins. Okay. And this is why I'm pointing this out, because again, for the BTC maxis who are dismissing all altcoins, I think that's absolutely absurd. It's irresponsible. Why are people doing that? But yes, the rally broadens out to altcoins for a few quarters until we finally get a blow off the top. Remember, I was always talking about the pressure cooker effect, wherein BTC outperforms by more than 50% in a quarter. And to see that happen is absolutely huge. And and that marks the end of, for instance, a boom cycle. Does that mean from there we have the utility run? Well, if we were talking about, BlackRock and Fidelity and some of these other ones, it makes you wonder, does it not? So look at this actual chart. Like I said, small isn't beautiful. Bitcoin's quarterly performance tops an index of smaller tokens by most since 2020. And, again, you can see this even dating all the way back to 2015 and seeing where it all started, like kind of come, to where the big stuff is, right? Look at where it mentions the 20. I'll point that out. Like, so if it's hard for you to see on the screen, about 3/4 the way on this chart, you do see some big, huge things happen in 2020. And we basically saw that. Okay. Going further down, like it says, because we're always talking about the data, right? To us, even including myself, this is the way I personally feel. This data suggests two things. And here, this is what's really worth pointing out. And then we'll jump back in the comments and we'll get into some of the other news that we normally cover here at CTN for some of the tokens that we have tagged. Basically speaking, we are indeed in the early innings of the fourth crypto boom cycle. If you're a fan of baseball, you know what we're talking about. The rally will broaden out over the next few quarters and altcoins will meaningfully outperform. That sounds incredible. But if anything, we provide you actual data. Not going to be this channel. It's like, well, this is just what I personally think. And, I saw some other people that felt the same way. No. Why do that? I'm not going to do that. If some of you guys are doing that, that's fine. I understand if you're new and so on. But as far as a content creator goes, you can't just come up here on camera and not show anything. Oh, this is just how I feel about it. And I'm not going to show any reason. I just feel that. I just believe that. That's absurd. All right. Therefore, we think now is a great time to be loading up on altcoins for the next leg higher in this boom cycle. How many times have we said, or some of you guys even mentioned in the comments, Max, are we still in the accumulation phase? Yes, I feel like we are, That phase is going to be, no pun intended, phasing out. It's like you see it on some of these tokens. Now, I will state this. This is why we have portfolio management software, whether it is a free one from CMC, whether it is, I'll shout out to the 3T Warriors Academy. I saw Menelek in the morning watching and so on. Some of the other guys, Blackwood and so on, didn't get a chance to comment because, I'm listening, driving down the road. I can't really do that while I'm driving down the road. But nonetheless, one thing that we know is that they have the Merlin portfolio management software. I think it's a paid one. And that's one I was thinking about, maybe I finally pay for it. But whatever the case be, whether you're using CMC, Merlin, you name it, have a portfolio management software type thing and pay attention to what should be your watch list. And if on your watch list you notice that certain tokens and coins are on sale and that this may be it for it, recognize that. Take advantage of those opportunities. Not financial advice, but that's what I would be doing. How do we know that? Oh, Max, I don't believe you. I'm new. Hey, believe me, because I did do some of that stuff. A few weeks back, a month ago, what did I do? Back the truck up on Jasmine. Back the truck up on Algo. Tripled my position to Algo. IOTA was the cheapest I ever seen it. under 15 cents. BSV, under 25 bucks. Some other ones, GRT, the graph, right? Audius. I don't think I loaded up more on Audius. I should have, but you know what I mean? But I had a budget. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like throwing another 10 grand into something, but I did back it up quite a bit. All right. Before we kick it back into the comments today, all right, and maybe we don't even have the biggest crowd of people here. It's all right, but you guys are here, and that's what counts. Check out what is mentioned in these portfolio notes for Polygon. Let's take a look into this just for a brief moment. There's other ones here, Polkadot, Near, Theta. We're not going to get into that. But this one about Polygon, we're going to talk about just for a brief moment because it's worth noting. So Polygon launches a music accelerator program with Warner Music Group. The pair will provide funding and expertise to qualified companies and entrepreneurs innovating within the Web3 music space. Now you may be feeling like, okay, that's cool, Max. So what? Here's why it's not so what. So I want to tell you guys this, all right? As you guys know, I bought the bottom when it came to audio, aka Audius. To see Polygon branch out into a music accelerator program, that's big in itself. It creates originality. It creates another layer, for instance, for Polygon's utility and what they're branched out to as far as their ecosystem. I think it's a big win. You might not see it so much on the recent price action, but I don't know. A lot of you guys DCA into Polygon, so I thought I'd throw that out there. Very cool stuff. Thank you for listening to this segment that we bring you every so often in regards to the bull run thesis. Smash that like. Let's jump back into the comments. All right, so let's see how we're doing on the likes. 33 likes. I don't know if we ever ticked up in the 30s, but that's okay. Let me get a sip of this guava real quick. All right. So everybody's saying hello to the wonderful April Cornwell. Yes, let me clear my throat. All right. Boomer F and Sooner says, April, you see they filming some of the Twister 2 at 23rd and Douglas, building a rodeo arena. That's awesome, man. Did you ever like snap some photos or take a quick recording? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. You can share that on crypto Twitter, Boomer. Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. All right. Yeah, he is for real about that. He's been talking about some of this stuff. Best $1.50 I ever spent. All right. Tim Shea says Billy the Kid and Elvis live together eating peanut butter and banana sandwiches every day. They are heavy into crypto. You know what? I don't mind a peanut butter and peanut butter banana sandwich. Have you guys ever tried it? It's pretty good. I don't like it just with just 2 slices of bread plain. What I like to do is I like to take a little bit of I like to grill it, all right, on an actual griddle. Kind of make it like a grilled sandwich in a way. I also like to take honey roasted peanut butter. Just makes it taste a little bit better. But yeah, it's good. I see why Elvis liked it. It's not my choice sandwich every day, but it's good stuff. All right. Let's go further down in the comments. We got Brian Dow, X-Men headquarters was my high school. Because you are a mutant, apparently. Huh. All right. Welcome to the one, the only, Mike Cornwell, aka Elon Muff. All right. Boomer Officer says Emilio Estevez and Christian Slater will be in it. Okay, that's going to be a fictional tale or something, but nonetheless, I mean, hey man, Young Guns 3 sounds cool to me. All right. Mr. Musk says cooking steaks on the grill, got the Bluetooth speaker with Max speaking in tongues about that crypto, yo. Oh, jeez. No blasphemy, okay? I hear you on that. I've been to a Pentecostal church. I mean, who hasn't been in a Pentecostal church? I understand the criticism, but, you know, I do believe in the power of healing. I would never make fun of that stuff. All right. What the hell, man? That's the greeting? What the heck, man? It's just, you know. All right. Let's welcome Boomer Effin Sooner. All right. Welcome, Boomer. Let's welcome Selmo Fudd. He says Crypto Talk Now. All right. Let's welcome Brian Dowie. Mudbutt Max. Like, what? What? That's my new greeting from now on. Every time you see me, you just think of Mudbutt immediately. I am not Rand. I am not a guy who eats at Taco Bell 24/7 and has Mudbutt special. Okay. But thank you for that. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. Top Gun 2. Okay. Now let's see. We're gonna go further down the comments, but I'm gonna check the other screen, see where we're at. Also want to welcome Mr. Magic Power. Hello, guten Tag. Liechtenstein Exchange. Just me in the house. And then on top of that, we got Patrick Collier says Vaseline Max. I never knew I had that nickname. Menace, welcome. Got some other people in the house. Got the one and only Miguel. Welcome, mi amigo. Mi hermano. Dos pollos hermanos. What movie is that from? Come on, we know what movie or show that's from. Let's just kind of welcome a few more people. Brian Riley, if I didn't welcome you earlier, I think I welcomed you. All right. So we're good on the other screen. And we'll read just a couple more comments, kick it back to what we have. And it's going to be some good stuff. Josh is in the house. Boomer F. and Sooner says, saw some dude on YouTube saying H-bar wasn't worth buying. He said he'd rather buy Flow. I mean, don't get me wrong. Flow is a decent project. We did a brief intro right on the live show talking about that. Some of you guys are invested in that. I'm not downplaying Flow, but come on, man. It's like, that'd be like somebody saying, oh yeah, H-bar is not worth buying. There's going to be more price action with Dogecoin. Like, are you not invested into crypto for that life-changing wealth? I mean, you're just trying to buy some stuff on the short end. I don't know. I guess that's what's going on. I don't know. And knowing that you see some people's age. No offense to some people. All right. Tim Shea says, hey, Boomer, the night we walked into the theater to watch Twister, it looked like we were going to have one. The sky opened up and we were drenched, even though Tim Shea doesn't sound like that. Anyway, Billy the Kid was the ish. I've got to get to Lincoln County, New Mexico. Yes. And Silver City and all that. Yeah. Go to all this historical. I feel you. I feel you. I feel where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. I've wanted to go to some historical places. Like my dad, he has a whole bunch of Time Life books of the Old West. I want to go to where supposedly like that tree was for, Johnny Ringo. And, some of that stuff is all, I don't know, Hollywood's take on it. It just kind of makes you wonder, But anyway, I mean, we would like to think that, Doc Holliday got the best on Johnny Ringo. Can we, how about this? I'll find out who is the hardcore Wild West fanatics. Now, don't get me wrong, Boomer and Sooner, like, you seem like you're a big fan of some of the stuff. All right. So if you guys have been watching or reading up on some of the old tales of the Wild West, just real quick, we'll get back into crypto, I promise. There is one or two, I should say, one especially. If you know where I'm going with this, you'll know immediately what I'm talking about. we've heard all these tales about like Billy the Kid and the Earps and Doc Holliday, all great tales. Don't get me wrong, right? I should say tales because they're historical figures. There's one historical figure that, in my opinion, I don't know why the hell Hollywood hasn't been all over this like fat kid on cake. Luke Short. Look into Luke Short. This guy went up against this guy in the town of Tombstone by the name of Cartwright. Now, if you know this tale or story, Luke Short was so fast and apparently so accurate, he shot off Cartwright's either his trigger or his thumb. So he couldn't cock back his. I think he was using was it single action? Maybe he was. I don't think he was using double action. Single action revolver. Can you imagine that? Now, some people say you got lucky, but come on, why was that never portrayed in a Hollywood movie or even in like like a TV show like The Rifleman or something like that? I don't know. Maybe consider that too violent. The only thing I saw closest to that, if you guys ever seen The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Buster Scruggs in the first ballad, right? Because multiple stories. Buster Scruggs shoots off like all the fingers of the guy he goes up against. You should see that, by the way. It's pretty decent movie. Not the greatest, but pretty decent. Anyway, all right, let's go further down. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Paxton, played Morgan Earp, Tombstone. All right. Sounds like we need to have, when we get this, I don't know, this crypto conference get together or whatever, like maybe we are at, the future lake house of Max or whatever, right? And Boomer F and Sooner and Mr. Mike Cornwell grilling up the steaks and the barbecue and so on. And then we have like a big old giant HD projector in the back or something, nice fire and so on, right? Maybe we should watch some of these old classic Westerns and so on. But, yeah, it does suck that, Paxton is gone. All right. I'll read two more comments and then we're going to get back into the outline. Corey Bibe, welcome back. He was reading up on Wisdom Trees Prime, or that's typo, okay, which runs on Stellar. Wisdom Tree is known, I think you got some more typos, that's right, handing around 85 billion. Cool stuff. You must be laughing about the comment about Mudbutt. Wait until you meet Rain, Mr. Menace. You will know where these crazy terms about Mudbutt come from. All right. Already read that. Welcome back to Magic Power 3578. Kareem, not to be confused with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He says Jasmine, or it might be she. Welcome. Glad to have you. All right. Okay. How about this? Two more comments, and then that's it. Josh, only gap that needs to be filled is the 29,600 level. Then we move to 33K. Okay. Did anyone ever check out the sell frame I mentioned up 100% in a month? My God, I have not got a chance to look at any of that. My thing is, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to take a note on that. I'll have to relax and take notes like Biggie Smalls. Let me pull up my research paper or notes. I still have some of the stuff. And then what did you call this again? You called it sell frame. Let me write that down. Sell frame. All right. Please smash that like. I understand there's other shows going on right now, but again, it does help. All right. Let's use that as a bookmark. Let's get into what we also have on this outline. I'm going to double check the other screen. And here we go. All right. So let's jump into what we have. A little bit more of that mainstream news before we kick into the community-driven news. BlackRock. Okay, this comes straight from Bitcoin Magazine. And if anything, it's been on the minds of a lot of you guys and so on. It always will be. I mean, who doesn't want to educate themselves more on what's going on with them? All right, so BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says Bitcoin is an international asset coming from the world's largest asset custodian manager. What do you want to refer to it as? Fink also said that Bitcoin and crypto are digitizing gold and that it can potentially serve as a hedge against inflation. Well, here's the thing, all right? Like I've always mentioned before, Bitcoin as a BTC was originally created. A lot of people thought it was a hedge against inflation, but in reality, it was a hedge against money printing. But I will agree with this: if you can digitize gold, then this could potentially serve as a hedge against inflation because, you know, it gives great incentives to do those types of things instead of just getting with Jerome Powell and turning on that money printer. Okay. All right. BlackRock, and we're going to blow this up a little bit more. I'm not going to read all of it verbatim because I did read a lot of verbatim earlier, but I was just trying to make a good outline. BlackRock, as we know, world's largest asset custodian with nearly $9 trillion in assets. Think about this. Even if it was just a small percentage of those assets, being incorporated into the overall crypto market and so on, tokenizing some of these assets. Think about it. They are going to. You literally see some of the things mentioned about gold and whatnot, do we not? But they made significant strides towards embracing Bitcoin. We know about the spot trade, so I'm not going to get into all that. The company recently resubmitted their filing after the SEC responded that the initial filings required more information in regards to the exchanges involved. So subsequently adding Coinbase to the filing, and other firms refiling, right? Some of them did. All right. In regards to Larry Fink, he made an appearance on Fox Business where he stated that the role of Bitcoin and crypto is digitizing gold. Now, I'm going to see if I can reload this up because last time I was trying to use it from Fox and they had a hissy fit because of my, shout out to Edward Vincent and my ad blocker, But yeah, Fox had a hissy fit about it. So I'm going to try to pull this up another way. I'm going to try to see if I can share this with you guys in a way you can see this. Let's see if I can pull this up. Yep, we got it. Heck yeah. Thank you, YouTube. Uploaded 2 hours ago. Let's jump into this. And it says, we want to hear from the regulators, according to Larry Fink. Let me get it primed or ready to go. Yes, eat that, Fox News freaking website, trying to have a hissy fit over my ad blocker. You guys get plenty of ads anyway. I don't need any more. So yes, boil it, mash it, stick it in the stew. Let's go ahead and play this. Share this tab instead. Here we go. We're not going to play the whole thing. We'll probably play maybe 5-6 minutes. If it gets real juicy and so on, I'll just keep playing more. Only 2 hours ago. Not bad. Let's give you guys this update. Mr. Larry Fink of BlackRock. Here we go.
So I told you at the top of the show, the S&P's 15% gain year to date. Nothing to sneeze at, but check out this comparison. Since the start of 2023, Bitcoin has pulled off an absolute moonshot. The crypto of record has soared 83%, with a good chunk of it coming since June 15th. That's when BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed an application for a spot Bitcoin trust ETF. BlackRock's iShares joins a crowd of fund managers from ARK to Invesco, VanEck, Grayscale, all these other fund companies that have been desperate to do the same, but they've been turned away by the SEC's bouncers, namely Chief Bouncer Gary Gensler. BlackRock's first application, actually, it's already been kicked back. The SEC demanded it name a surveillance partner to spot things like fraud and manipulation. And late last week, BlackRock and NASDAQ refiled, naming Coinbase as the custodial surveillance partner of the spot Bitcoin trust. The crypto world pinning its hopes on BlackRock, which has a track record regulators say they find too good to reject. At least that's what people think. BlackRock's 576 ETF applications, 575 have been accepted, and just one has been rejected. I know you're all asking which one. I'll tell you later. It was in 2014. As the entire crypto sector waits and watches, joining us now in a Fox Business exclusive is BlackRock's chairman and CEO, Larry Fink, along with Charlie Gasparino. Great to have you, Larry.
Liz, Charlie, it's good to be here on a summer day.
Yeah, and we're cool in here.
We are.
Larry, I know that per SEC regulations, you cannot get into specifics. But as you look at all of your track records when it comes to iShares and approvals, how do these things work out? How long does it take? And what do you think odds are of any of your ETFs that you float getting accepted?
Well, we try to do what's right for the long-term investor. And I think we have a good track record working with our regulators and trying to making sure we're thinking about all the issues around any filing. And so I can't get into the specifics of this filing, but I think the chart speaks quite well. We work really closely with our regulators, and we want to hear from the regulators what are their issues and how can we fix those issues around that. So we hope that, like in the past, we could be working with our regulators and get the filing approved one day. And I have no idea what that one day will be, but and so we'll see how that all plays out. Specifically on Bitcoin, as I've said in the past, we're a believer in digitization of products. ETFs was a big revolution for the mutual fund industry, and it's really taking over the mutual fund industry. And we do believe that if we can create more tokenization of assets and securities, and that's what Bitcoin is, it could revolutionize again finance. And so we look at this as an opportunity to move one step further in terms of providing investors fractions of shares, fractions of this, democratizing the cost of investing. Over the last 10 years, we've lowered the cost of iShares ETFs by 30%. So what we're trying to do is make it more accessible or easy. The attempt in terms of what we're trying to do with crypto is make it more democratized with all of crypto and making it much cheaper for investors. Right now, the bid-ask spread for crypto is very expensive. It does erode a lot of the returns that you speak about because it costs a lot of money right now to transact Bitcoin, and it costs a lot of money to get out of that. And so we hope our regulators look at these filings as a way to democratize crypto, and we'll see in the future how that plays out.
You were never a crypto skeptic like Buffett. I mean, Buffett and Charlie Munger come out and they say all this bad stuff about it. But you were kind of skeptical.
Yeah, I was skeptical because the early users it was heavily used for, let's say, illicit activities. And I think as it became more accessible, and also I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in. Let's be clear: Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency, and so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
Right, but hasn't the technology sort of diverged from the value of the digital coins? I mean, I don't know a lot of people who use the blockchain. That's the Bitcoin technology to transact. I know a lot of people who hold Bitcoin. You don't hold Bitcoin, right?
I don't own anything other than mutual funds and BlackRock shares.
Okay, but you see what I'm saying? There's been advancement. There's a utility, it seems, out of nowhere about this digital coin. I don't see the utility in the underlying technology, and isn't that bad?
Well, no, I actually believe the underlying technology is fantastic because the blockchain will help you accelerate the processes of transactions. The blockchain will help you identify. I mean, let's be clear. If you have a pure blockchain and you have knowledge of who the buyers and sellers are, we could then, we don't need custodians anymore. Okay. We don't need, the whole process of finance. Some of the intermediaries are broken down. And so this is why we're all studying.
There, but we're not there.
We're not close to there. But it's an advancement of technology. I mean, it's no different than the spirit around AI and what AI can do.
Larry, as we look at the broader market here, we have come out of a bank crisis. I don't know, it was a mini
crisis,
fit or something like
a little
that.
mini
It didn't
crisis.
feel mini to the banks that went under, three
Correct.
of them.
Yes.
But the very issues that put those banks under, whether it was bank management in relation to higher interest rates,
Correct.
have not gone away. Now we've got the roller coaster coming right at commercial real estate.
Yes.
Are there more banks that you foresee failing, whether they are the regionals? We just talked to David Rubenstein at the top of the show,
Sure.
and he thinks maybe in a couple of years we will see some of these go away.
We have 4,400 banks. We have more banks in the United States than any country in the world. We believe in local banks, so we have a strong foundational belief that local banks are good. But to have 4,400 maybe is too many. Liz, you framed it perfectly. I believe interest rates are going to continue to go higher. I think the Federal Reserve is going to have to do minimum of 2, but maybe as much as 4 more tightening.
4 more rate, 25 basis points.
25 basis points, another 100 basis points. I actually believe inflation is stickier and more structural. And so I see a future of higher interest rates. Higher interest rates is going to create more stress in commercial real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Commercial real estate is the largest asset category of regional banks. And so there may be stresses.
That's a problem.
But the first 3 banks did not have stress on credit. They had stress on their mismatch of their assets and liabilities. Could we move towards more of a crisis towards credit? Absolutely. Is that systemic? Probably not. It's not. It doesn't have to be systemic.
It's not the big banks. I mean,
it's not the big banks. And
right.
more importantly, the economy is really strong now and getting stronger. It's not getting weaker. We have the 3 large stimulus packages that were enacted over the last year, the Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS Act, and the IRA. It's all just starting the J curve. This is going to, and it was $1 trillion over many years, but of stimulus. It's just entering the economy.
It's been too much.
Yes, but it's entering the economy.
Where are we in the cycle of spending that? Do you know? Halfway, 3/4?
5%.
Whoa!
That's it.
We're just starting, Charlie. This is just happening. And so think about how many jobs it takes to rebuild airports and freeways and ports. The job demand from these acts is going to be enormous. And so here we are talking about commercial real estate as it may be a problem, but the stimulus that we're going to see in the other parts of the economy is extraordinary. And owning companies that are involved in the rebuilding of our infrastructure, these are going to be good long-term holds.
Well, some of that has to do with what you have been behind for many years, and that's ESG,
right.
Environmental, social, and
we
governance.
could say those words, right?
I don't say them anymore.
Oh my God.
We won't go there.
Larry, much of the nation is broiling hot right now.
Yes.
And we can throw up a weather map, and it is pretty unbelievable. A lot of records have been broken,
yes.
particularly in the Southwest. Texas is melting records. The town of Tahoka broke a 110-year-old record. It's been nuts. They hit 116 degrees. Last week, the state hit a new record for electricity demand.
Yes.
But what's interesting is much of that demand, as conditioners are running at full speed.
You guys want to play a little bit more
comes
about or in regards to
sustainable.
this?
Yes.
So whether that's
just to give you guys a
solar
heads up, let's
or
play a little more
wind,
about this.
it's filling that demand.
Actually,
And
thank you.
yet the state of Texas doesn't like you guys.
No, look, Texas is, but people don't understand. Texas is the #1 state now in renewables. It is also obviously the largest state in terms of traditional energy and traditional power. And so we look at this, that we need power in both traditionals and renewables. And we're going to be announcing a big transaction with a traditional energy company that's heavily into gas. And we're helping them move towards more sequestration. And so our job is to be working on behalf of the asset owners. I mean, we're the largest asset manager. That means none of the money is ours. We're working with all the asset owners and trying to help them on long-term solutions. And part of the long-term solution is working on decarbonization. And hopefully we could develop new technology to bring down the cost even more.
Let's be clear, Charlie, and you've seen this. BlackRock has hundreds of funds with fossil fuel
Totally,
companies.
200
we
billion,
can
right?
put
Is
up
that
a
the
bunch
No,
of
no,
them
we're
right
more
now.
than that. Worldwide over 380 billion.
Correct,
That's
380 billion, and
That's
it's
amazing.
something like
We're the largest.
500 of your funds
Yeah.
or have at least one or two names.
So you're the
within
largest
them.
sin stock investor in the world.
Well, I want to call it sin stocks. We have to rely on traditional energy. At the same
Right.
time, we need to aggressively build decarbonization technology to offset the demand. But that's going to take years and years and years and years. And and so the question is, do we have the time? You're talking about record heat. The thing that I focus on, and we're not spending enough time on, is what's going on in homeowners insurance. In the state of Florida and the state of Texas, state of California, major property and casualty companies, big brands, are leaving the states because they can't elevate the price to meet their returns on homeowners. And we're displacing, really a large segment of America today that are not going to be able to afford homeowners insurance if they are in an area of risk. To me, that's where climate is investment risk. And that's what I wrote about.
So why not say ESG anymore?
Because it's been weaponized by the far left and weaponized by the far right, and we lose a conversation.
Maybe go to GSE. I can't help but laugh about this because it sounds so. The attacks on you are kind of absurd because I see Texas coming after you on ESG. I see Republicans. I see that guy from New York, Brad Lander, the control of New York,
attacking us and not doing enough.
Not doing enough. We want you to get out of all of it, and you say I can't do that.
And we can't look at our job is to do what our clients are asking them to do, and we do a very good job. And despite all the narrative last year, we were awarded over $400 billion in net new assets.
You guys have $9 trillion now, right?
Over $9 trillion.
Yeah, no one's holding a gun to their head.
No, but our clients are coming to BlackRock more today than ever in the history. So despite all the narrative, because we're a fiduciary, we do what our clients are asking them, and we have good performance, and we've been right on market calls. And,
that's true.
And so,
people forget your background as a bond trader,
yes.
As a risk manager. I mean, you created BlackRock from nothing. It was dedicated to risk management,
correct,
because of your experience in the mortgage-backed market back in the day.
Yeah.
And you've been really good at that for a really long time, and it gets sort of swept away. I know too much about you. I've known you for years. You look the same, but you're not. But you are getting older.
I am getting older.
I'm not going to ask you,
by the way.
I know. trust me, I know that. Are you going to step down anytime soon?
There's no plans. I mean, I love my job. But at the same time, we are really building a management team.
Right.
It's not about one person. I mean, everyone thinks about, okay, who's that named person or named two people? But we're spending so much time in making sure we have a team. And I'm very proud of the point right now that I actually believe when the time is right for me to stand down, that I actually believe we elevate one or two people. And I believe the majority of those leaders who are thinking they have that opportunity will be at the firm.
So they're at the firm. It's not going to be like some people say, maybe you'll bring in Greg Fleming, good friend of yours.
No, absolutely not. I mean, but what I'm trying to make sure is that when there's that time, it's not we anoint one or two people and three people leave. I'm trying to build a team that whoever is named 1 and 2, that the remainder team wants to be part of that new team.
Let me ask you about
that's how to build an organization.
Let me ask you about two competitors.
Yeah.
Start with Morgan Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
There's a race to replace James Gorman at the top. Andy Saperstein, who runs brokerage, Ted Pick, who runs risk. Who do you think?
I wouldn't know. I mean, I think James has done a great job of having 3 people who are next in line, and the key is the same idea. Hopefully, whoever is named, the other 2 stay on. That's what you want. You want to. You don't want to have what happened in GE historically when one person is anointed and the whole team dispersed.
Well, Jack told him to leave, didn't he?
Yes, and I think that history will show that was a mistake. We're trying to build a team, and elevating 1 or 2 people doesn't mean other people are losers. And we're trying to keep continuity and making sure that we have a management team that is ready to run in and become better than what I've done.
But you wouldn't be that guy like Iger who's, I'll come back. Let me come back and save the day.
That would be a disaster.
Why?
Because I don't, you know what? I want the next team to be better than me. And I'm
See, very few CEOs say that.
no, but
But then
I'm
they
a
get
founder.
annoyed
Well,
when
they-
they're successful.
But I'm a founder, and I think
But
founders.
that's right. You created this.
And
thing.
I want the
That's
firm
true.
to do so much better than.
But look what's happening at Goldman. This is now, if you don't want to answer it, I'm not going to
I'm
bust
not going to
your chops.
answer it. So
But look, it's clearly a little this give and take between Lloyd Blankfein, the former CEO,
Yeah.
the current guy, Solomon,
yeah,
and Lloyd going around saying he doesn't like the fact that David does
I will
whatever
not be
DJ.
doing that. Whatever that may be.
Do you
What
think
will you
David?
be doing?
Wait a second. Let me ask.
I
you,
hope
just-
I'll be, enjoying my grandchildren.
you will be.
Okay.
But I need to ask you: is that guy getting a bad rap? Not you. I know you are, but David Solomon.
I think David has done a good job over time. I mean, it's obvious that there is a schism within the organization, and I think David has led the firm properly.
Mhm.
I think he's elevated the firm. The firm is a better firm today than it was 5 years ago. And so I don't know the inner dealings. I don't spend much time focusing on the other firms. I spend all the time making sure we're doing the job right for our clients.
Okay, we got 30 seconds
Yeah.
left, Larry. What do you think is the most important thing this country needs right now?
Solidarity. We need to bring back hope. So many Americans are losing hope. And the polarization of opinions, of fighting, it creates more fear. There's more fear in America today than in my lifetime. Fear about the future. You're seeing that, declining birth rates in America. You're seeing that people are frightened of, is tomorrow going to be better than today? I know when I was a child, I knew that the future was going to be better than it is today. And I built BlackRock on that belief. We need that. We need hope.
Our stage guys are agreeing with you. By the way. I saw
They're
him shaking his
cheering.
head.
Thank you, Larry.
All right. Wow, that was quite interesting, right? I didn't get to watch the full thing earlier. I got to watch most of that. I took some notes, all right? Biggie Smalls, relax and take notes. Just hear me out on some of these key things that was mentioned in this, okay? So, there's a thing that was mentioned by one of the broadcasters, right? One of those anchors. He says, many projects have utility, but they're not backed by anything, right? Think about that for a second. So, when we talk about, when it comes to, I don't know, the dollar, right? Where everybody's saying, the dollar is not backed by anything because, we went off the gold standard back in, when Nixon took us off of it in 1971. Ever since then, it just seems like we just get further and further in debt and so on. Right. Absolutely. So yes, many projects, as in crypto, think about like, for instance, Ripple's XRP, you name it. They do have that utility. But for instance, what are the ones that are backed by something? So people say that, Ripple's XRP would be backed by gold, Stellar would be silver. We've heard these things before, right? But some of the things that Larry Fink was talking about in regards to, gold. Think about all this stuff. If we have like an insurance policy by putting or making these things backed by gold, I guess you could say to a sense, and this is a weird way of looking at it, but I think it makes sense. Like my uncle, he's worth like $15 million. He has multiple bank accounts because he's paranoid that the FDIC is not going to insure him. And we know that in a great financial collapse, good luck being able to actually get any proper insurance because we're already so much in debt anyway. How are the banks realistically going to pay him back? So on and so forth, right? I'm not preaching the choir about that. But by having assets backed by gold, this is an insurance policy for digital assets, just like our dollar was supposed to be insured by the FDIC for $250,000 per account. Another thing that Larry Fink was basically mentioning, and let me just double check my settings, make sure I'm not muted because that would suck. This right here, right? Part of my notes. We have more banks in the United States than any other country. We put so much focus, for instance, on the central banks, specifically Europe. Talk about like Augustine of the Bank of International Settlements. I mean, none of that stuff we should discount, right? But if that's the case, that we have more banks, like Larry Fink was mentioning, in the United States than any other country, it makes you wonder, well, why did the SEC have this position that they have? If a central bank, just hear me out, is the definition of just that, no pun intended, a central authority that controls these assets, if you will, and we're trying to get to the point of true decentralization and quote unquote freedom, and the United States has more than any other country, then it would make sense that, yeah, technically speaking, we are the definition of a centralized authority. Okay, so is that another reason why the United States is going to be the last to fully implement the ISO 222 messaging system by November 2025? I think so. All right, another one. Larry Fink, quote, companies that are building out the infrastructure for great long-term holds. Think about how many different projects that we've seen when it comes to blockchain and DLT. They're doing just that. They're building out their infrastructure. They're building out for, let's face it, what we refer to as the future of Web3. We can even apply it to like Jasmine and so on, right? Like when it comes to Society 5.0, like we're in Society 4.5 because there really only is like maybe a couple of smart cities, maybe a few more, but they're not to that full scale that they're looking to accomplish with Society 5.5 or 5.5, 5.0. This other quote from Larry Fink: we need to build decarbonization tech. Now, he said that would take many, many years. But again, the concepts of all this for the future. So when you mention, in crypto, you're so early. True. How many projects have mentioned that, the concept of, decarbonizing this, decarbonizing that, basically carbon credits and so on, like me, one of my dream vehicles is to have, a few old school Impalas, right? I want to get a 59. I want to get a 60. I also want to get like a 64, right? I also want to get like a 1948 Ford convertible, kind of like the one you saw in Back to the Future. I just think it's a cool car. But I'm going to eventually have to use carbon credits, right, in order to drive these vehicles, right? Two more quotes from Larry Fink. This one, we have, as in BlackRock, listen to this, guys, we have $9 trillion in assets. Now, let's just break this down for just a brief moment. So they have $9 trillion in assets, okay? According to this report, who also has a lot in assets? Well, we were talking about Fidelity. So Fidelity, I think, ranks third to BlackRock. Boys, is a big difference. According to Reuters on this report, I know you don't see it on the screen, but trust me, this is what it says. You can look it up yourself. They are worth a little over 1.2 trillion. It's fluctuated. So you add that to, for instance, BlackRock, Fidelity and BlackRock alone, that's 10 trillion in assets. 10% of that to go towards, tokenizing some of those assets and funds, or whatever you want to refer to it as, bringing it into blockchain, distributed ledger technologies, let's face it, towards contributing to the overall crypto market cap. That's pretty huge. Okay, because for one, that right there, just off of those in itself, right? Let me just double check what that would be. I mean, yeah, that's like an extra $1 trillion towards the market cap, if not more, right? We understand that things will increase due to supply and demand and so on, but these are just many examples. Those are just two big institutional players. I mean, huge, don't get me wrong. But what about all these other ones, right? So you see literally, these applications like we talked about and so on, great, huge, positive catalysts. So if anything, I'm going to not only jump back in the comments here for a brief bit, but I want to show you guys the next thing we're going to talk about. And it's basically crypto regulation in Africa. There's 7 nations that have their basic regulatory stance. So let's jump back into the comments. Thank you for being here. Please smash that like. Let me turn some banners back on. And we'll get more into some of this stuff. So if anything, it makes sense with this outline. That's why you introduce the whole concept of the bull run thesis, where we're at, these boom cycles, so on and so forth. Let Let me just turn on some of these things. There we go. Okay. So next up in the comments, let's see who we got. I'm looking for specific questions, comments, and so on. And Corey Bebe says, Wisdom Tree. Oh, I did read this one before. My bad. At least I think I did. I don't know. Mel, welcome back, Mel. She says LCX, great project. Tim Shea, Max, where are we gonna stake Zil? Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding. I know, man. We'll have to look into that. I'll try to remember that, man. It's just like I'm gonna miss out on my staking. Like, what the heck? I agree with you, man. What the heck are we gonna do about that? All right, Patrick Collier, Max, deep dive into Caroline tonight. Oh my God! All right, I'm glad you guys are having a good time. All right, that's good. Brian Riley, do you know the true meaning of quote? I will be your Huckleberry. Like, I'm your Huckleberry, right? From Doc Holliday. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I always think of like Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. But I honestly don't know that. So explain that. That'd be cool. Who doesn't love that saying? And who doesn't love, I'll state this. I think we could all agree on this. Val Kilmer, at least at bare minimum, he should have been at least nominated for his role of Doc Holliday. I mean, I understand that maybe, what year was that? Well, depending on the year, but I mean, there might have been other people that would have beat him out clearly for best supporting actor, but he deserved at least like an honorable mention of, being nominated, but whatever. There's so many politics in Hollywood. I mean, even like, was it Saving Private Ryan? That clearly should have won Best Picture over Shakespeare in Love, but who was part of Shakespeare in Love? What's his name? Weinstein, right? How many years in prison he got. So, and there's a lot of politics in that. It's just Harvey Weinstein, I should say. Anyway, I don't want to turn this show into that. Thanks. I hope you're having a great day as well. He ran with White Earp and Bat Masterson. You know your stuff. You do know your stuff. That's cool, man. Well, Boomer F is sooner, a future campfire meeting while we're enjoying a great Caroline, weenie roast or whatever you guys want to call it. We'll have to talk about some of this, tales of the Old West and so on. I look forward to that, man. Boom. All right. Corey Bebe, I know you were talking about Jasmine last night. I was. I'm going to talk about a little bit more if I get some time. Hopefully I do. About an hour and 21 minutes in the shot. I should have some time. You believe that I said they have a connection with Microsoft? I was talking about Microsoft and Intel specifically. Not a direct partnership. Microsoft have been trying to buy Activision Blizzard gaming connection with Jasmine. No, not a gaming connection with Jasmine, unfortunately. But there is a gaming connection for Caspa, and that was retweeted. Shout out to GF Burke, who referenced that. I'm not gonna go on the high horse and be like, oh yeah, there's totally a Jasmine connection, because that would be BS, and I don't do that. But nonetheless, that's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with recognizing some of these things. And don't get me wrong, in the future, they may do some things to branch out, because let's face it, they, definitely want to position themselves, and they mention this in regards to the metaverse and so on. But from my research and gatherings, it's more focused on an educational point of view. And we do know, whether people agree with this or not, that the metaverse will have, I guess you could say, quite the educational ecosystem in various different metaverses, right? Depending on the platform and so on. In Japan, you got to keep in mind, they have a stance in reaction to COVID, right? Where there's going to be not just online school, but taking it to the next level with metaverse. But I also believe at some point they will branch out to gaming. That makes sense. I mean, come on. I mean, Japan, Nintendo, Sony, for kind of Sega, you name it, right? But as far as metaverse, I mean, will metaverse be more popular in Korea? I don't know. South Korea, possibly, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But as far as Activision Blizzard, it's definitely Caspa. You could look more into that. I did retweet that. All right. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. Can't wait to see his face. What did I miss? Maybe you guys talking about somebody else. Oh, because I said read the Caroline comment. Oh my God. All right. There was actually a hucklebearer, right? Paul Bearer. Huh. Interesting. All right, Crypto Smooth Max. What are your thoughts on Caspa? It's in my top 5 for ones I don't own yet. That please know there's a difference between what I own that's in my top 5, and there's a top 5 of what I don't own yet, and that's probably, I don't know, it might be the number 1 of the top 5 that I don't own yet. Ordi is another one, and so on. So we'll see what happens with that. Corey BB is Larry Fink is Gordon Gecko. Man, he's more than Gordon Gecko, but that's a great sign. All right, let me double check the other screen, see how we're doing. I think we're doing good. Hey, there's longtime supporter, Hump Not Dump, aka Badir, crypto winner. Glad to have you back, man. Steve Rose, glad to have you back. Max XX is up 18%. We could pull that up for a second. Honorable mention to XX. Let's see what's going on with XX. XX. All right. Yeah, it is. All right. Let's share that for just a second. All right. So XX Network, rank 4583. Unconfirmed market cap at 23,360,000. That if this gets confirmed, this dramatically, increases its rank, as we know. Only 15,765 in volume, but it's a low cap gen, sitting at 12 cents. Wow, Tim Shea, look at the 1 hour chart for XX Network, man. 15.28%, up 17%, 24 hours, 7 days at 16.52. We'll pull that up for just a brief moment. I don't know. That's not a natural looking chart in my opinion, but there might be reasons for that. Like this guy says, look at the chart, not at your expectations. That's not me trying to fight. It's just me trying to be real with you guys. I want to see something look a little bit more natural, but nonetheless, we have done an intro to it. It does seem like it's a pretty darn good project. There could be various reasons for this, or maybe it's just because the volume is so low. It appears to be kind of a funky looking chart. I mean, that is worth pointing out, right? All right. So for those who are wondering, what was the previous all-time highs? It was pretty much like after its listing, or during its original listing, almost a year ago, right? This was as high as 61 cents, kind of leveled off for a while. Went to 39 cents by October. Now sitting at about 12 cents. So, if anything, maybe at the 10-cent mark, it's worth considering getting a bag. If you guys want to look more into this, you can. We're not going to take a deep dive on it just now. But, if enough people requested us to give you guys updates in regards to XX, we definitely could do that. All right. But thanks for pointing that out. I'm glad it's doing well for you, Tim Shea. Let's go further down. Corey Bibe, and we're going to get into this article in a bit. Stellar's big in Africa, and they have a lot of gold, just saying. True. And we have this whole thing in regards to, this article from Henry Brown. Hopefully he's doing all right. Shout out to CTS sideline reporter Henry Brown. It's real juicy. All right. Someone else says, when it comes to BlackRock and Coinbase, be careful what you ask for. You might just get it. Yeah. When it comes to BlackRock and Coinbase, I'm similar to the thriller in Manila. All right. Tim Shea, Selmo, let's just get XRP moving. All right. Welcome back, GG. I haven't seen you in the longest time. Welcome back. There's already crypto backed by gold. Yeah, of course, right? Pax Gold, for instance, or Paxo. Or you could get a Glint account and buy gold and spend gold with debit card. BTC, not digital gold. That's just marketing. All right. I will agree with you to a degree on this. I mean, I know about Pax Gold, Paxo, and so on. Here's the thing. All right. And this is whether we're for BTC or we think it's a marketing scheme. I understand that, right? I hear all sides of the story. Here's the thing. Pax Gold doesn't represent, again, towards roughly 80+% Like, you know, like I said, Bitcoin, BTC, and Ethereum represent about 81% of the overall crypto market. So there is that. Currently speaking, I mean, I do believe it's in the top 100. I mean, we can double check where it's at. Hold on a second. Where is it at? Let me pull that up. Packs. All right. There we go. Well, there's Pax G. I used to Pax. Anyway, as far as Pax Gold, I'm not gonna get more deep into this, but sitting at 80th, all right, top 100. All right, let's look at this other one. Oh man, I just clicked on the wrong thing real quick. Hold on a second. XO. Well, I think that was a typo then. But anyway, I get where you're coming from, man. I respect your opinion. Welcome back, by the way. Okay, hope to see more of you. Phil says that he thinks Tim Fink is a smart man, smooth talker, and a true hustler. Can't be mad at him. Just beware. Yeah, absolutely. All right. GG says BlackRock just saying to come and let us hold your assets and make a killing on these funds, but love that they are pushing this because it will help. Right, it will help their overall bigger, greater, you know, scheme of things. Someone Flood says BlackRock dabbing into crypto is what I'm talking about, and market manipulation, like Lambos, referring to Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. That's right. Okay. All right. GG says Larry Fink is saying we need to consolidate the banks without saying it clearly. That's a good way of looking at it. All right, let's go further down in the comments. Steve Rose, thanks for the compliment, man. I appreciate your support. Listen, I'm pretty sure it's you, Steve. Pretty sure you have the greatest avatar in the history of, you know, live stream crypto shows. What happened to it? I'm pretty sure you're the guy with, you know, half the face is a Terminator thing, right? You know, was it the T600 or whatever it's called? And then the other half is Gilbert Verdian. What happened to that avatar? That was a great avatar. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else. All right. You have a great channel here. I really like your format. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy the format. If you ever want the opposite of this format, check out Larry on DGen Talk Now. Anything and everything. Mascot is literally an eggplant. Shout out to Larry. All right. Thank you very much, Tim Shea. Appreciate you. I do appreciate Larry too. I mean, he helped me out with some things earlier today. Hopefully he's doing well. Corey Bebe, he says he believes BlackRock had applied for 75 ETS. Yeah, they show that on the Fox News clip. All right. Only one got denied back in 2014, which makes sense. I mean, it's 2014. We're not quite to where we need to be, right? Steve Rose, guys, don't forget about tokenization of real estate. The guy talking here is getting ready to dump billions into this. We're going to talk about tokenization of real estate. We have covered Relio, but there's other projects, okay? So there's two in specific. Again, when I have a little more time, I'm going to get into that. Climate insurance. Welcome, Lucy B. All right, let's go further down. C. Rose says in two, tokenized real estate, BlackRock. It's a no-brainer, guys. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's read 2 or 3 more comments. Steve, some of us have invested in Relio, which involves real estate. There's another project. Again, I'm going to show you guys that I don't even know if Warren Buffett realizes that's tied into crypto, but the point is he owns a large stake in regards to what you're going to see. I'll have to show you guys the deep dive on that, but it's just going to take too long right now. Look around. Yep. BlackRock owns it. Everywhere they're tied into some stuff. Yeah, he did say on CNBC previously about tokenizing the stock market or something to do or to that effect. Okay. All right, let's use that as a bookmark. I'm gonna check the other screen. We're doing pretty well. Corey Bebe says, when utility tokens get regulated, will we even need MasterCard Visa? Yes, because here's the thing. This is, again, what like Mike Cornwell is talking about. You, yourself, a family member, whoever, people that don't even know what blockchain means, Most don't. People don't even know what DLT means. They're like, huh? Something lettuce tomato? No, it's not that. It's distributed ledger technology. So you go swipe your debit card and not even realize it's tied into, for instance, some of these technologies, crypto, you name it. Okay. All right. So I see Larry's in the chat. Hello to Mr. Ooh, Larry. Welcome, welcome. And let's jump back into what we have. All right. So again, this comes from the one and only Henry Brown. And let me see if I'm in the shot. I'm not in the shot. Let me find my mark. I sound like I'm trying out for auditioning. I used to do that years ago. All right. With theater and so on. All right. Crypto regulation in Africa. Okay. Here's the bottom line. Here are 7 nations and their regulatory stance. Shout out to Henry Brown, CTN Sideline Reporter. It comes from Forbes. Dang it. Man, I'll have to see if I can get a different source because they're going to penalize me because I use them so many times and they want me to. I'm not going to pay like $20. Was it like $25 a month or something stupid for Forbes? Oh, okay. I see what I did. I just unblocked it. My bad. All right. So I can't share it. Let's blow this up. This comes from Forbes. My dad years ago, back in the 90s, used to have a Forbes subscription. Okay. Don't like it that big. Let's go with 125. All right. So on this one, crypto regulations. All right. Talking about Africa and so on. Crypto adoption in Africa is much like the desert rose. Think about this for a second, right? An emblem of resilience and the ability to thrive amid a great difficulty. Regulatory statements about crypto adoption in Africa have transitioned in different rates between 2018 and 2023. I mean, what is that, like 5 years? However, each regulatory stance has presented opportunities and challenges in equal measure. Let's get into some of the nitty-gritty about this, right? So it talks about Nigeria. 47% of Nigerians in a survey reported they use cryptocurrencies. Based on another report. I mean, think about this for a second. Remember how we were talking about Stellar? And there's that project literally built on Stellar and specifically headquartered, I believe, in Nigeria. Based on a report by AAA, 10.34% of Nigerians own crypto. That's huge. That's like literally 8% more than here in the United States. Okay, this high percentage reflects Nigeria's ranking at the 11th position globally in 2022, ahead of Kenya, ranked 19th in the Global Crypto Adoption Index by Chain Analysis. Now, I have stated in the past that before the Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine, had a pretty high adoption rate, and they blasted off significantly higher actually during the war. I believe, currently speaking, and maybe this will reflect this, Switzerland has the highest adoption. That's what I recently read. I probably should have checked other sources as well, but it was from a reliable source. All right. As early as 2017, Nigeria was poised to enable crypto adoption in the country through enabling regulation in a bid to embrace the opportunities afforded by the new technologies. Crypto adoption grew significantly among the youth. The growth came with a hope among those who gained, from early adopters, so on and so forth. But look what it mentions about framework. We're always talking about, regulatory framework. The lack of clear framework to limit the operations of scams and legitimize the authentic service providers in the crypto ecosystem created a push for the government to step into afford much needed investor protection. All right, how about this for a second? Regulatory notices in 2021 from the Central Bank of Nigeria expressly banned the use of BTC, further prohibiting financial businesses from dealing with cryptocurrencies. Remember what happened in Turkey a few years ago? They used to be really, really gung-ho. Bitcoin. Hold on a second. Excuse me if you heard the coughing. I don't know. I thought I hit the mute button, but there was that big hack, and then they wanted no part of it for at least the time being, and now, of course, they're coming back. Banks could not facilitate transactions from individual users in cryptocurrency-related businesses. This consequently drove the growth of peer-to-peer transactions to navigate the banking limitation. But again, think about this, right? They talk about facilitating these transactions from individual users and cryptocurrency related businesses. Hence that project. And I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but we have covered them. You know who I'm talking about in regards to Nigeria. So, it talks a lot about like other countries, for instance, Kenya. There's a lot of comparing and contrasting here. We're not going to get into all this. There's, of course, the whole thing about South Africa. I'm going to jump down to this part real quick. Where the heck is this? Shoot. Oh, yeah, this one right here. This is probably a country you never even heard of, right? Mauritius. Just hear me out on this. This is good stuff. This specific country is one of the most forward-looking in terms of crypto regulation and adoption in Africa. As of 2022, Mauritius ranked 131st out of 157 countries adopting the crypto. There are at least 23,000 some odd crypto owners in the country, but look what it says. Although it seems low relative to the population of 1.3 million, it has a significant impact as Mauritius is one of the few nations with crypto licenses on the continent. Now, did you find it really odd, or maybe you don't find it odd, that countries that normally didn't have access, you know what I'm talking about, right, to like typical financial services that you and I, especially here in the United States and, other places, Canada, so on, non-third world countries, don't you find it odd that these areas of the world that normally don't have access to the traditional financial systems of the world they have very, very, very high crypto adoption? Right. Think about it. It's the concept of decentralization, right? Embracing that. So it goes on to mention that, for instance, like the Percy Exchange has over 40% of its traders transacting daily, showing consistent growth in uses over time. Cryptocurrencies aren't legal tender in the country, but they have certain guidelines to protect citizens and stabilize the ecosystem. So you have these perfect examples of people who didn't have access in TradeFi, right? The traditional financial, sectors of the world. We understand that there's, distributed ledger technologies, especially like when it comes to like, I'll throw in like, Nexera, Alliance Block, that TradeFi to DeFi bridge. But these third world countries, if anything, have recognized that supply and demand for simply having access to these decentralized markets, if you will. Mauritius released the first crypto license framework in Africa back in 2021. The Virtual Asset and Initial Token Offering Services Act, which was called the VITOS Act. This act offered laws that provided guidelines for international compliance and harmony with the Financial Action Task Force. I always love how they refer to these as all task force. Like, talk about the the IETF, right? The Internet Engineering Task Force. Now you have the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force. We talk about Jasmine. Was it platinum data towards happiness? And look at this, compliance and harmony. What's the key factor here? Decentralization leads to what, guys? Happiness. I mean, I hate to use that pun, but I mean, come on. All right. So, this mitigates, money laundering risks, connect with crypto, for instance. Can the United States and other countries, I hate to mention Biggie Smalls again, but relax and take notes. Yes. All right. Ghana. My aunt was a missionary to Ghana back in the 1980s, early 90s. My dad's sister. Okay. One of the most keen regions in terms of crypto growth and adoption is Africa, or in Africa is Ghana. While cryptocurrencies are not regulated, again, different narrative compared to the previous example we gave you, they are not prohibited in the country. So that's kind of interesting, right? Like, how do you guys go about that? Because you guys, in Ghana have your own version of the Wild West? I don't know. It says there's a strong and vibrant community of enthusiasts as well as businesses interacting with cryptocurrencies and working towards fostering and enabling environment for crypto adoption in the country. How so? Well, for instance, in 2022, a 1.5% tax was introduced, legislated as a e-levy on digital financial services, but not to the point where it's like, 30% capital gains or whatever. The controversial tax is yet to have a direct impact on the adoption of cryptocurrencies. Of course, there's Morocco, on and on. I'm not getting into all this, but the key thing is there's a lot of different stances specifically for the African region. And how about this? We'll read this last part. In summary, the regulatory stances have a common goal, which is to protect investors and minimize risks associated with financial crimes. Are we about to start to see this here in the United States? Is the ball finally starting to roll here? Or is just everything leaving the United States? I mean, a lot of people feel that way. Regulators also acknowledge the potential impact of innovation associated with blockchain technology. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much innovation, and there always will be, which is the infrastructure behind cryptocurrencies, right? Blockchain, distributed ledger technologies, and so on. All they differ on what extent, they can engage with the crypto ecosystem. There are clear plans to tax cryptocurrencies and their usage. What is undoubtable is that the adoption of cryptocurrencies on the continent is growing steadily in spite of regulatory uncertainty. Very, very true. So for everybody that's here in the United States and saying, we get a ripple loss, it's just going to hurt the industry, so on. Right. It will hurt who? The United States, but the rest of the world will move on. Here's many different examples, especially in Africa. So there's where you have it. And I don't know. It's kind of nice to jump into some of these things and compare and contrast and so on. Maybe you guys feel as though it's boring stuff, but it's definitely worth noting because, if we're trying to get the concept of regulatory framework for we can get the clarity for the likes of, the BlackRocks to come in and so on. In reality, the BlackRocks are already coming in right now. All right. Let's get further into it. Not so much of a big turnout, only 24 people here. It is what it is. Maybe people get tired of me talking about like the mainstream news. They just want me to focus on the tokens. You want to get more people in here, Max? You got to talk about the DGen stuff. Well, that's not really our format. There's plenty of other shows that do that. So, all right, let's get further into the comments. Let's see what we got. Let's check the other screen. Excuse me. And that is the one that I'm going to do a deep dive with you guys on is Proppy. That was the one I was talking about. That, Mr. Berkshire Hathaway himself doesn't even realize that, his ownership has ties to this because he's anti-crypto or he just doesn't like it. All right. Oh, okay, that's cool stuff. All right, let's go further down. Lucy B says, if people don't see the agenda by now, then I'm sorry. It's just too obvious to ignore, and I'm sorry, but I believe that due diligence equals no benefits. All right, well, that makes sense, and thanks for sharing that. Hope to see more of you, Lucy B. Guys, let's give Lucy B that warm CTN welcome. Gigi says, tokenized real estate can be risky. Just depends on the platform with their secondary markets to sell their NFT real estate tokens. NFT, utility-based real estate tokens. Lucy B says, at this point in the world, those that are asleep will be asleep and you cannot wake them up. Propy is up 58% today. Nice. Yeah, that was the one. If you're wondering, is he ever going to mention what it is? That was the one. My best friend tuned me into that. He wanted me to cover that, and I promised him I would. Tokenized real estate. Mana. Okay. Sheeple sleep well. All right. I'm gonna go further down because I need to because we're approaching the 2-hour mark. All right, let's go further down. See if you guys got anything specific. I'll read this real quick. XLM is huge. It's growing and the price don't show. The big boys are going all in. I guess is what you're trying to say. At once and over time, it will go to $50. I'm not kidding. I believe you. That's why I think it's gonna be well over $50. Badir says, yo, 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 what's up? Everybody staking XLM on the Cosmos Hub wall. Awesome return. What kind of yields are you getting on there, man? You're still here, Humpty. All right. Steve Rose, the financial world already has made their mind up to use Stellar, but please don't forget about HBAR. It's huge. Oh, yeah. I'm never going to forget about HBAR. Yeah. All over HBAR like fat kid on cake. Okay. 10 trillion assets, 1 trillion going to real estate. Okay. So Steve Rose. Badir says, today I became more bullish than ever on XLM after remembering it's on the Cosmos Hub, the Internet of Blockchain. You and I believe also Boomer F and Sooner, nothing against you guys. I have respect for you guys. You guys are not into XRP, but you do both love XLM. All right. I like both, but teachers know. All right, Steve Rose, take it easy. Glad to have you here. And just kind of going through the comments. It seem weird that the Stellar is not on the SEC's naughty list? It does seem weird. And there has to be certain reasons for that. I don't know. But I'm glad that they're not on that list. All right. That's good info. All right. When I make it to Tombstone, I'll let you know. We can have a beverage at the Oriental Saloon. That sounds cool. And I'll state this. If you've never been there before, in the ceiling at the Birdcage Saloon, it's no BS. So like they showed in Hollywood, in the movie Tombstone, the cowboy gang, right? They're all shooting up in the ceiling. Those bullet holes are still there. That's not some Hollywood BS. That's historical. You can see it for yourself. So if you've never been there, definitely look and take some pictures. Pretty cool stuff. Boot Hill's pretty funny. Some of the tombstones. What was this? Here lies Lester Moore. 4 slugs from a 44. No less, no more. Always love that one. All right. GT Bitcoin spot ETF applications are meeting with SEC next week. Could be a big catalyst. All right. We'll try to do an update on that. All right. I already read this one. Bone Tomahawk. I wasn't a big fan of that movie, man. I mean, I know that's kind of like a horror movie, but I don't know. That was a one and done for me. But if you're in the horror movies, not bad, right? All right. Read this from Humpty because he's not here all the time. One thing that caught his eye was Larry Fink saying that there are 1,400 regional banks, and that's too many. And that's the so-called banking crisis we just had. 3 failed banks with nothing. Yeah. Yeah, Larry let me know that. I know I just went from one subject to another. That he, Patches is not doing too well. Like I was telling Larry, I mean, I'll try to find out like these nutritional pills that kind of help with the cartilage and the joints and stuff like that. It's supposed to kind of like help your dog kind of get back to walking around like normal and so on. I'll try to get I got to remember, I got to get you that link because it really does work. All right. All right. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. Thanks for being here. It's going further down. GG says another great show. Night peeps. I'm your Huckleberry. All right. Well, he's probably gone, but I hope to see more GG. All right. Lots of comments. That's good stuff. Vulcan Maniac, welcome. Glad to have you here. He said, what up, y'all? Vulcan Maniac, any good BSC Binance Smart Chain DeFi projects? I don't know, man. Like even on my Trust wallet, I think I only have like maybe a couple on my Trust wallet. Like I don't really keep a lot of stuff on, those types of wallets, but I think I had a garbage one. Evergrow. Don't get it to Evergrow, right? That one was literally like a gamble. All right. We're gonna go to the last one. Brian Dowie, Humpty, high price stablecoin, bro. Okay. All right. Let me see how I'm doing on the time real quick. I'm at 8:08 my time. 30 people. Please smash that like. Let's get into the next part of our outline. because we cover way too much mainstream news, and typically speaking, we don't really do that. All right. Let's get into some brief Q&T for just a moment. It ain't going to be like a heavy focus on it, but we're definitely going to talk about some Q&T for a bit. And then rounding things off for the night, we have, I believe, let me double check. We have some BSV regards to some highlights. Because, the London Blockchain Conference, happened a while ago, but they chopped some stuff and gave you some highlights. So I thought I'd get into that as well. So shout out to Cool Cat Crypto. Let's pull this up, and it's Q&T, Quant. All right. So I'm going to start things off with this. And again, please smash that like. We're at that 46 likes. Let's jump into this. So a few things mentioned here, and this is from Lambos or Food Stamps. I love some of these creative names, Remember that thumbnail I did for Larry a long time ago? From when Lambo to when Pinto, and it shows like he's standing not next to a Lambo, he's standing next to a F1 McLaren, and then next to it in the bottom right of the thumbnail is literally I don't know, cat piss colored Ford Pinto, like a 74 Pinto. Anyway, all right, there is nothing bigger than the Bank of International Settlements. So we obviously did the deep dive. I even did the deep dive to the degree to a fault, right? Where I was like, I'm gonna be the first to report this on YouTube, and I was really feeling great about it, just to get rugged, and was informed through other channels to reach out to me, especially with Quant Papa, because he literally had, I guess, both Andrew Carrier and GV himself reach out to quite a few content creators. Anybody that showed the full trailer about the connection to Bank and International Settlements, they were told, like, you got to pull that off. So I agreed to do it until the day that after they released it. And I was like, all right, here it is. So the thing with Bank and International Settlements, maybe you're tired of hearing about this, but why is it such a big deal? Why is the Q&T community, right, making such a big deal about it? Let's jump into this for just a brief moment. It's not going to be super heavily deep dive, whatever. Reported on July 4th, yesterday. Happy belated 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, America, right? So why is the Q&T community so excited about this? The Bank of International Settlements is, like it says, the central bank of central banks. Great analogy, to a sense. A global umbrella of the financial system, representing 95% of the world's gross domestic product. Now, one thing I did forget to mention on that segment that we showed earlier with Larry Fink, when he was on Fox News or Fox Business, excuse me. And that basically is, if you have some of the world's largest asset custodians, like, headquartered here in the United States and so on, and they're going to be putting a tremendous amount into blockchain and so on, contributing to the overall crypto market, well, that's big for the overall crypto market, but it's also tremendously huge, let's face it, for power rankings, GDP power rankings. The United States still ranks number one, and we have been following the whole concept of like the BRICS countries being a threat to our GDP power rankings. But technically speaking, if you look at the G7, we still take the cake. All right. The BIS is the single most powerful and influential financial entity on the planet. Look at this for a second. Let's blow this up. And in the process of doing so, you're going to see a few things that are basically mentioned here. Bank of International Settlements, member central banks, and general meetings. 63 central banks and monetary authorities are currently members of the Bank of International Settlements. Were you aware of this? Hopefully you were. The Bank of International Settlements annual general meeting, which is AGM, is held within 4 months of the end of the financial year on the 31st of March. So every 31st of March of every year. The AGM approves the annual report and the accounts of the bank, decides on the distribution of a dividend, and elects the bank's auditor. Were you also aware of that? I know some people say, you always say that. Well, I'm just saying. Each of the BIS member central banks has the rights of voting and representation at general meetings. Well, how so? Can you give us some examples, Max? Yes. I'm not going to read all of these, right? But here's a few. Bank of Algeria, Central Bank of Argentina. Let's get into some of the bigger players. Shout out to Brian Dowie in Canada, the Bank of Canada. Let's go further down. Denmark's National Bank in Denmark. Let's go further down. How about France or something? Bank of France. Banque de France. Remember when I did some of those deep dives, like Banque de France? All right. The Deutsche Bundesbank, if I'm pronouncing it right, the Bank of Greece. Remember I used those examples about ISO 222, sending it from a central bank of Greece? Well, apparently there is such a thing. Yes, finally got some confirmation. Well, Max, you should took a deeper dive into it in the past. Was it needed? No, but we got some verification. Hong Kong Monetary Authority, right? Hong Kong SAR. All right, so those are some examples right there. All right, on top of that, when we jump back to this, you're going to see a little bit more. I'm going to show just a tad bit more. Okay. And let's blow this up as well. And what do we have here? We have quite a few things. And on this, Central Bank of Ireland, Central Bank of Israel. We're always talking about Jasmine, Bank of Japan. I mean, look how well connected they are. So the Central Bank of Central Bank is a bank of international settlements. Okay. Saudi Central Bank. I mean, it just goes on and on. Bank of England, obviously. How about the United States, Max? You never mentioned the United States. Well, they're there. Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, United States. Remember a while back we talked about Project Hamilton? Remember a while back we talked about how the Federal Reserve System was testing a CBDC pilot. You had members of like MIT there. You had obviously the Fed there. You had we drew that connection to Quant. I never forget how many people gave me flack in the comments saying this is a nothing burger. This is all speculative. I wish they were watching the show now. Okay. Yes, absolutely. All right. Now jumping back to what we have, like it says here, and let's just blow this up a tad. So the Bank of International Settlements is the single most powerful and influential financial entity on the planet. That's why the QNT community makes such a big deal about this, right? All right. Let's take you to this next part. Shout out to Tokenizer. We got to get him on the show again. Great guy. Telling you flat out, this guy is the GOAT when it comes to the deep dive research, because it's not just on 1, 2, or 3 projects. It's on all of the ones with solid utility. Tokenizer is the GOAT. I'm telling you flat out, this guy's like the Michael Jordan of crypto research. I give credit where credit's due. Tokenizer is the Michael Jordan of crypto research. He is the GOAT. If you want somebody who's consistently going to give you, we talk about data, like Mike Cornwell says, numbers don't have emotions. Tokenizer gives you everything you need. So if you're on crypto Twitter, give Tokenizer a follow. If you're not following Tokenizer by this point and you've been using crypto Twitter for a while, I don't know what you're doing. I'm just being honest. It says bringing knowledge on enterprise, purpose, blockchain, and DLT. And the way he's able to explain things, he can explain things way better than I can. I mean, I appreciate the compliments I get. This I shouldn't call him a kid, but in reality, I'm probably old enough to be his dad. But he's in his early 20s. I forgot what he's majoring in, but he's an incredibly smart young individual, and I wish him nothing but the best. Have a tremendous amount of respect for this guy. So all-time chart for QNT, what do you notice? We're going to get into this. Unlike 99.99% of assets in the space, QNT is building healthy, consistent patterns since August of 2018. But yet, people who haven't properly researched this, what do? They technically flood it. Oh, I don't see a lot of crazy price action. Oh, I haven't seen much mention from the Quant team. Remember all those months that went by and that happened? Right. But what kind of notes are we going to take for the future? At least I am. Maybe you will. Maybe others who are newcomers. When a project doesn't necessarily say much, that's a solid project, because we know with meme tokens, if a project doesn't say much in meme tokens, God, watch out. They're probably going to have their, something crazy is going to happen, right? But if it's a solid project with real world utility, that dead pause in my book means that they are probably making or developing something huge, especially during the bear market. All right, let's jump back to the present. Most assets are incredibly volatile. Remember what we showed you earlier, if you're watching the show in regards to Larry Fink, right? The institutional money doesn't want to be involved in anything volatile. Hence why we have to get the regulatory framework to get the clarity to bring more of these guys in. You may have the attitude, well, they're already in, they're putting the applications, right? The narrative is shifting, but we need to have that clarity. It says, the continued long-term upward trend of QNT with healthy retest is visible of bull or even bear. We're going to blow that up. There you go. There's the QNT chart. Not too bad, if you ask me. Not too bad. All right. Let's jump into the next part of what we have before we wrap things up with QNT. And it wouldn't be a proper Quant coverage without giving a shout out to the one and only Mr. Quant Papa. I love it when they call me Quant Papa, right? So welcome back, Quant Papa. He has been freed. Let's see how he's doing on his followers. He's going to get back to where he's at, right? We follow each other. Why do you think Gilbert knows QNT? And look what's referenced here from Watcher Guru 7 hours ago. Just in, Twitter receives first 3 money transmitter licenses for payment services in the U.S. Minute and 34 seconds. Smash that like. Here is the QNT coverage you've been looking for. Lionel Richie. Here we go.
Is securing streaming data processes. You think about all the data that Twitter produces every second. Well, how do you secure that? How do you put that on a distributed ledger technology? You have to rethink the entire architecture.
Ways to do payments using an existing platform like Twitter.
An example with Twitter, my view is that that's going to be a payment system. It's undergoing a lot of turmoil right now, and we all know why. And
Gilbert talk about is about compatibility. How do we make solutions that are compatible to existing data management solutions that developers are currently using?
Transactions or financial services that leverage that network connectivity, the human side. So I think where we're seeing things evolving is that mass explosion of new types of digital assets, new types of money, and the new types of human-to-human transactions or business-to-business transactions. If you look at what's happening, just an example with Twitter, my view is that that's going to be a payment system. It's undergoing a lot of turmoil right now, and we all know why. And but I think that's kind of the start of a new human-to-human ways to do payments using an existing platform like Twitter. So having that connected to bank systems, to central bank digital currency systems, peer-to-peer systems, we're going to have a new type of world. It's very hyper-connected. So I think 23 is the start of that.
This is the start of it. And you literally saw the confirmation about the Bank of International Settlements. Whether people want to be like, oh, it's connected to evil, whatever, and so on, it's a huge, huge thing. All right, we're going to get into a little bit more of what we have for this. Glad to share that with you guys. All right, I think there's just one more piece for this. Yes, there is. All right, so to round things off for QNT, check this out. And we have shared his info or his research many times. ConstructionTrader.eth. QNT Overledger will be deployed into everything, and most people won't even know they are using it. Like, how many people do we see constantly say, oh, it's just a QNT token? You know how old that sounds by now? All right, check this out. Overledger isn't to be taken lightly. Let's blow this up. Global finance, payment rails, asset tokenization. We've seen a lot of these things. Let's give you guys a reminder. Currencies, bonds, equities. We talked about real estate earlier, did we not? Propi, right? Relio. Open banking, trade finance, consumer apps, logistics, shipment, food tracking, luxury goods. Never forget, again, if you ever seen that video, that deep dive that I did, where it shows me like I look like a longshoreman and so on. I did a deep dive about logistics and supply chain, the QNT connection. I couldn't believe it. I had a couple guys in the comments bashing me, saying that I'm full of crap because it's all that VeChain. I was just like shaking my head, like, who says that it has to be one blockchain? One project. That's ridiculous. Even with the payment rails, I'm supposed to believe that it's just only Stellar, or it's only Ripple and so on. All right, how about healthcare? systems, interoperability. Obviously, you're going to have the healthcare care connection. Laura Verdian, right? Think of how well connected she is in healthcare. That's just a given. Systems interoperability, AI analysis, databases, reconciliation. You get the point. We talk about Jasmine, especially when it comes to the Internet of Things, IoT. This is a different form of IoT, right? The Internet of Trust. But it does reference smart cities, smart homes, some of those Internet of Things. Obviously, government, if you got the, everything that Gilbert Verdian does with the Digital Pound Foundation, Bank of England, you name it. It's a big deal. Okay. If you wonder what M apps are, it means multi apps. We talk about, dApps in the past. Gilbert Verdian always references multi apps to provide upgraded functionalities versus existing dApps with, here are some examples, users across networks, abilities of all networks, higher flexibility, horizontal scaling, etc., etc. All right. Glad to show you guys just a brief little thing in regards to QNT. The next thing we'll get into here in a brief bit is in regards to Ripple's XRP. And then after that, we're going to get into some Jasmine, a little bit of BSV, and then we'll wrap things up. All right, let's go further down into the comments. We also have glucosamine for arthritis. I do give my dad some glucosamine because he has problems with his joints. It really helps with cartilage. So I'm glad you recognize that. I give him the 1,000 milligram, the triple action one, but I break the pill in half. It looks like a horse pill. And that way he takes 500 milligrams. And that way that kind of helps stretch it, make it go farther. Cool Cat says, I don't see anything about Stellar on Cosmos website. In regards to the staking and stuff. All right, Brian Dowdy, why can't a company make cold storage that holds everything? Yeah, exactly. It's like when I was talking about Arculus, it's just like great concept, but do I really want to go about kind of like how some people still use just Robinhood? I mean, there's not a lot, but they do that. Oh, Robinhood only has these cryptos, so I can only buy these cryptos. Like, really? You're gonna do that? Yes. Why can't a company make a cold storage that holds literally everything? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me either, Brian. Yeah, that's the bottom line, right? You got to jump to this one. You got to jump to that one. Blah, blah, blah. All right. I knew that Mr. Humpty was going to give us an update. He says in the Cosmos Hub, people can stake XLM 40.15%. My God, maybe I should put on that APR. Can people stake fetch.ai? Okay, I'm not into that one. But dang, man, over 40%. My God. Yeah, exactly. Damn, like freaking Smokey from Friday. Like when we saw that, we're like, damn, 40%. Yeah, everyone like jaw dropping. You see why I'm starting to be super bullish? Yeah, no kidding. Bullish as F. That's what Cool Cat says. All right. Humpty, the Humpty dance is your chance. Digital Underground, baby. Quant did a bad deal working with the bank that bought stolen Nazi gold and distributed it with the European Union. Okay. Well, think about this, man. If we're going to, I'm just being honest, if we're going to point fingers here on a lot of stuff, then what about everything the World Economic Forum decided to? I mean, XLM, you're in XLM, I'm in XLM, Hedera, LCX. Where does this whole thing end? You know what I mean? It's like D who is without crypto blockchain sin cast the first stone. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to justify everything here. I mean, I don't like anything tied with the Nazis and all that stuff. Heck no. All right. Quant is with Hitler. Not good. All right. Oh, Val. Yeah, Guten Tag. Liechtenstein Exchange. Jasmine in the house. Shout out to Magic Power. Screw that bank, according to Humpty. International Bank of Settlements. They're the oldest, most corrupted bank in the world. Probably. I mean, if they're the central bank of central banks, I would agree with you on that. I don't have a bronze statue in my backyard of Mr. Augustine, holding a QNT token as like a cookie. If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about in that regard, I could definitely show you what I'm talking about. In fact, I'll show you this for just a brief moment because it's good stuff. because ironically, after this thumbnail went up, Mr. Quant Papa was suspended for whatever reason. He honestly thinks that maybe it's because we offended Mr. August. I don't know. I don't really think the guy pays much attention. Not Quant Papa, but Augustine. There it is. Look at it on the screen. Ain't that a lovely photo? QNT powers the world. I mean, come on. You got to admit, that is a pretty decent thumbnail. I mean, that video got 1,500 views. I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but it's a decent for a size show. Or Jasmine videos obviously do a lot more, but come on. You know? Anyway. I do not have a bronze statue of Augustine. All right. Let's just stop screen on that one. Corey Bibe, great stuff, Max. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. 821, not that long ago, all right? So I'm kind of caught up. And Corey Bibe, I want to state this, right? Thank you for being a regular attendee here at Crypto Talk Now. You think I don't notice? I definitely do notice. So thank you. You too. All right. Tim Shea, Rockefeller Center has Nazi gold built into the foundation. Yeah. There's that. You know, it's like, I guess, crypto winner, you got to move from New York. You know, Nazi gold built into the foundation. You don't want no part of that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got bronchitis. All right, Leftover Barbecue, binge watch season 2 of Yellowstone. Oh, man, that sounds like a plan to me, man. That sounds like a plan to me. You know, I haven't been watching a lot of TV, but when I get a little bit of time to watch, because I've been trying not to focus on negative energy stuff, you know what I mean? Just because I've been going through a lot of crap psychologically. Kind of plays with you. You know, mental health is a real thing, right? So it's like, I've been trying to watch some things that kind of make me laugh. So I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm on the I think I just finished the 4th season, so I'm on the 5th season right now. Absolutely hilarious. Love that show. Sometimes there's some episodes that are funnier than others, but it's just some of it I really like the show. Maybe you guys don't like the show, but I like the show. All right. I always like Kevin Costner, you know, as an actor and so on. I mean, there's so many great films he was in, you know, Field of Dreams, The Untouchables, especially when he played the role of Elliot Ness. You know, I know that they came out with the TV series The Untouchables, like, and then was it the 1960s with Robert Stack? That was all right. I like that one. I always felt as though that I kind of wish that, you know, they could have done kind of like the format of the Untouchables movie, but a TV series. I wasn't wild on the one that was from the early 90s called The Untouchables. That was like, they had like maybe 2 or 3 seasons. That one wasn't all that great. Like maybe 4 seasons. I don't know. You get where I'm coming from. If you've been paying attention to that stuff. Your wife made spaghetti. Only complaint is no leftovers. Oh. Well, then she makes good spaghetti. You know who also makes good spaghetti? Is me. But I try to lay off the spaghetti because it's super, super high calorie. If you guys look more into it, I don't know of anything that has more calorie content than a plate of spaghetti. I think the average plate of spaghetti, last I checked, and I have to double check some of this stuff, whatever, we're going to nerd it out. It's like over 4,000 calories for one plate of spaghetti. That's a lot. You know what I mean? And as you guys know, you get addicted to the wonderful, yummy taste of it. You go for a second plate, then is that like 8,000 calories? I mean, technically speaking, the only people should be eating like 8,000 calories are like boxers that are like, you know, training for a title fight or something like that. And, you know, going to go out early in the morning and run it all off. And anyway, I don't know. All right. Corey Bibe says, I believe Algo has a utility software. Oh, Unity software. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, maybe from that. You know what? We did talk about Algo the other day in regards to gaming, but not to the part where you're talking about in regards to Blizzard. If you guys are connecting again, please smash the like. We will get into what we have, and we'll get into it in a second. Yeah, good old Smokey, right? I finally, you know, for years I wondered why wasn't Chris Tucker in Future Fridays and they had an interview, because he didn't make much. He got hardly paid anything. And at the end of the day, everybody needs to get paid. All right. Humpty says, download the Cosmos Hub wallet and link the internal LUM wallet. Okay. Cool Cat says, how are you going to get fired on your day off? Oh, yeah. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got hump, not dump. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got crypto winter. Ain't nobody got time for that unless you try to accumulate, right? Yeah, there we go. All right. Oh no, here comes Debo. Yep, freaking Tiny Lister, aka Zeus, right? From WWF back in the day. We all remember. Sucks that Yellowstone may not be back. No, what? No, I don't want to hear that. That's. I hope that does. I want to enjoy a full show. Well, I mean, if it's concluding and with a proper ending, but I don't want to see anything get canceled. I hate when I see shows get canceled. That's just annoying. I'll tell you this. Someone, you still here? You still here, my friend? You guys know I'm a huge Nas fan, okay? My favorite rapper of all time is Nas. Even when Tupac and Biggie were alive, Nas was my favorite rapper, right? I love Nas. There was a show that was on Netflix, and even though it technically got canceled, there's only 2 seasons, I still recommend anybody watching this show. You love hip-hop, I'm telling you, you owe it to yourself to watch The Get Down. I believe that's what it's called. Let me see. Nas. The Get Down TV show. Yep, The Get Down. I love that show. That was so cool. You know? And they canceled that, man. I was so disappointed. Like, I was never so devastated about a show being canceled than that show. All right, let's go further into this. And we see that Tim Shea says, link this. Stand on one leg, rub your belly and your head at the same time. When does it end? All right. Okay, we have 25 people. Not the greatest numbers, but you know what? I put the link out too late in the day. I didn't even know for sure I was going to be here, so I do apologize. I do appreciate our regular attendees and members and so on being here. Let's jump into what we have. It is now the Jasmine segment. So let's jump into not the Jasmine segment. It's the Ripple segment. What am I talking about? All right, I want to show you this, okay? And I will use a little bit of Jasmine mixed in this. This is the CARE project, okay? So remember when I did a deep dive for Jasmine for the CARE project? Well, this time it's Ripple, all right? The key thing is you love seeing even like Jasmine being partnered with somebody that's also tied into Ripple. I mean, it's just, again, you know, and we saw Ripple being a diamond sponsor for the IVS Crypto 2023. So with that said, let me just double check this time real quick, make sure I'm doing well, because I got to go pick up this kid again from his job, just kind of helping him out and so on. Anyway, CARE project. CARE works to save lives, defeat poverty, so on and so forth. It's a great project. 1.2 million followers, partnered with Ripple, partnered with Jasmine, right? So here's the thing, right? And I mentioned this, you know, a while back. Even here it is, CARE project, partners with Jasmine. I was all the way back in March, did deep dive into it, but it's still so very impressive to see these types of things. Now, what I want to show you guys is this, okay? I know I'm kind of jumping around, but this is good stuff. This was reported just a few days ago, officially from Ripple. I thought I would do a little bit different, you know, instead of just like, here's what one content creator is saying about Ripple or this guy or and so on. Let's just get a little bit more from actually the original source. So this comes straight from Ripple themselves. It says, what are the core building blocks for leveraging digital assets? Now, you guys, of course, have the answers to this. Do we not? We've been talking about this for over a year. Tokenization, though. Custody and off-ramps, to name a few. Learn from Ripple's this guy, who is Brendan Barry. He is the head of payments and products over at Ripple. He previously held a position over at Amazon, also Slack HQ. He's an alumni of Tuck School, Colorado College, and so on, right? All right. We're going to share this with you guys, but it says, learn from Ripple's Brandon Barry on the financial systems tech stack and the latest crypto in 1 minute. A lot of times you guys don't want me to do like extremely deep dive stuff on the live. You just want it on the recorded. Thought, you know what? Let's just get to the point. This is good stuff. Please smash that like, especially if you hold some Ripple's XRP. And even if you don't hold, if you're a supporter CTN, smash that like anyway. Why? Because I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't. Here we go.
We'll see how I'm able to do it. This is going to be a stretch to get it under a minute. Hi, my name is Brendan Barry, and this is Crypto in a Minute. I can't promise this is going to be comprehensive, but let me start with how I think about building blocks, which is really an analog to the financial systems tech stack. And it starts with an on-ramp, connecting your physical fiat currency and bringing it into the blockchain. The next would be tokenization. What other assets, not just currency, you want to bring onto the blockchain? The third would be custody. Who's holding your funds? Are you holding your funds? Where is the technology that's actually providing that service? The next would be liquidity, conversion, and exchange. You want to be able to move your value in and out so you have flexibility. Another would be compliance services, making sure that you are maintaining KYC and AML requirements in your jurisdiction of operation. And last but certainly not least, off-ramps, connecting your digital value to the physical fiat infrastructure and domestic payment rails. Under a minute.
All right, cool stuff. I mean, last time we shared the whole thing of what's it called, under 1 minute or whatever. Yeah, crypto in 1 minute. It was David Schwartz, aka Joel Katz. So that was cool stuff. So we're gonna show you a little bit more. And like I said, it's not the biggest segment, but it's just pretty neat stuff. Actually, I guess that concludes our Ripple coverage. See, it was just gonna be real quick. Again, smash the like. Let's see how we're doing the likes. 50 likes. That's not bad. We are now going to kick it into the Jasmine coverage. I'm gonna read a few comments before I do that. The Humpty Dance is your chance. He says, Polkadot wants 200 DOT to stake, but if you trade Atom for DOT in the Kepler wallet, you can stake any amount. Glad you know this stuff. That's cool. Kepler is a Cosmos Hub wallet as well. All right. Thank you, Mr. Badir. Mr. Boomer Afasooner says, me and my brother once got separated from Tiny Lister and his crew in Vegas. Oh, God. For real? All right. I heard that he was actually a really nice guy off camera. It's just, and if anything, I guess, not that I'm like a big fan of like televangelists, because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I don't know. Some of those guys just, they claim they're doing the Lord's work, but if they're using it to bankroll themselves, they're just making themselves insanely rich. That's so messed up. But anyway, I just remember that Tiny Lister used to be on TBN back in the day with like, what's his name? Shannon Paul Crouch, whatever. Anyway, sharing some of his testimony. So I don't think he was like a bad guy in real life personally. But anyway, all right. Me and my brother once got separated from Tiny Lister and his crew in Vegas back in 1997. Asked for an autograph and he said no. So my brother said F you, and it was at a movie convention. Wow. All right. Well, so much for about me saying a good thing for Mr. Tiny Lister. Maybe he is all bad. It's just for the camera, I don't know. Well, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Boom saying F you to Debo. Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, that guy was freaking huge. I mean, he's Zeus, freaking Zeus. When I was a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, there's Zeus. That guy was crazy, and the way he would like look at people, he's a mean looking, scary dude, man. All right, Boomer F Sooner. My brother did. Ice-T left. I thought it was going down. All I was thinking was, oh, poo. All right. Jurgens, Boomer. Jurgens, whatever you want to call it. My cousin, he calls it Jurgens. Nice, Boomer. I know, Vassal. I'm just playing with you guys. All right. Bro, Atom is going to be more than... I know it is. I guess you could say I should include that instead of number 5, that'd be... Yeah, I just rounded off at 6. I've been fully aware of Atom. I just feel like I missed the boat when it was like $8.50 or whatever at the bottom. I was just kind of beating myself up over that. There's always the one that gets away from me. Just one. Not a lot, though. Bone is the one that got away from me. I know Tim Shea's like, well, Max, you technically have it, but yeah, I should just bought a bag when it was like 30 something cents, like you guys did, right? Around this time last summer, right around this time last summer. I haven't forgotten. You know, Max, you are a Shiba Inu hypocrite. You have leash, you have SHIB, but you didn't round it off with bone. That's blasphemy. All right. Boomer F and Sooner says, now the fight I almost got into with Richardson. What the hell? Why are you fighting all these celebrities, man? You know, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. It's just like, well, yeah, my brother's like, F you, Debo. All right. Then we take off. And then we go to another convention. You know, screw you, Magoo, to Ice-T. And we take off and go eat some shish kebab at a Greek wraps place or something like that. Then this part, you know, the fight you almost got into with Richard Simmons, a freaking Def Jam. What the hell? In 1995 in Dallas would have been better. You got to tell this story, man. You got us going. You know, don't leave us in suspense. What happened from here? All right, hump not dump. I drank the water and thought, the Adam pill. Oh, you're doing the Matrix out of this, Mr. Badir? But no, didn't need pills to go down the rabbit hole. Well, that's good. I mean, you don't need pills to, you know, the pill would be like a form of aping in. I see where you're going with this. That's true. You already did your research. All right. Triple C says, ha ha ha. Richard Simmons. I might be able to take him. Richard Simmons. Now I'm getting all over the place. Richard Simmons. You guys are not talking about the Def Jam guy. You're actually talking about Mr. Gay Richard Simmons. Like, hi everybody, let's work out. Welcome to, Workout Talk Now. Oh my God, Mr. Cool Cat Crypto. And who am I thinking? The other, I'm thinking Hip Hop Simmons, which is Russell Simmons. My God, you guys are probably like, Max, what the heck, man? Two different. Yes, I know. I got too much of the hip hop on my mind with the Nas, and you guys were talking about Ice-T earlier, right? We're talking about freaking Friday and stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. Like, give me some slack. Yes, Richard Simmons, you know, the blatantly gay fitness guru, Richard Simmons. Okay. I have nothing against Richard Simmons, but I mean, come on, you know, it's just, well, whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, Mr. Boomer F and Thinner, we'll be together, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. Let's do a workout. Let's flap everything around like crazy. Anyway. All right. Sorry. All right. Let's go further down. Boomer F Sooner says he was smoking a cigar. Here's the update. When he pulled up to the arena, he ran all the way over to me to tell me that smoking was bad for my health. Really? No. It's like, I bet you feel like saying, well, no, Sherlock. I know that. I told him smoking the D was bad for his. Oh, you know what? I think you did explain this last year. Either you or somebody else mentioned this. I think obviously it was you. You have explained this story a long time. This is funny though. So when you told him that smoking the D was bad for his, what did he say? Did he say, come on, you gotta give us a little bit more, you know, Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. Yeah, I just crazy stuff. That's crazy. And we're all having a good laugh. The D-Gen stuff. I'm finally with you guys with the D-Gen. That's a good, happy thought, right? And then all of a sudden, while we're at the height of the laughter and the suspense, then serious talk. Back to Badir. Polkadot. Binacle. What is the Barnacle? Crypto.com, Fetch AI, Luna Classic, and over 30 projects. Uniswap is working something out, but Ethereum is already to perform, I guess. Ethereum is running on the Cosmos network as well as via. And then this is what I love about our show. Then right back to this hilarious topic. And this, you know, those movie conventions were awesome, especially the ones in Vegas next door to the Adult Video Network Convention Awards. Oh, okay. I got to be careful how I mention that because YouTube might freak out with the algorithm. Oh no, you know, we're going to cancel your channel. Yes, Cool Cat Crypto, you know. If he's checking out, you know, Danelle Dixon, something fierce, his eyes are lighting up to that. Cosmos, boom, is the only person that knows more about movies than I do. Oh my goodness. All the quotes and stuff. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, you could bring, you know, you can even dress as a furry when you come to the CTN convention for the, you know, when we're all multimillionaires, or Mike Cornwell a billionaire in the future, right? All right. You guys could quote movies and all that good stuff, you know, doing a weenie roast. All right, Triple C worked for a couple of distributors in the mid to late 90s, met tons of celebrities, and been to a ton of parties. I met a few celebrities, but obviously not as many as you have. It does sound fun, though. All right, Mr. Humpty, back to being serious. This is good stuff. I meant to say EVMOS in the Cosmos ICP can convert ICP as an internet computer, can convert Ethereum or any ERC20 token into an IBC token. Huh. When I think of IBC, I think of like the root beer. Anyway, it was good times, according to Boomer F. Cerner. He went to a, I'm not gonna say it because you guys don't understand. Sometimes this thing with YouTube is so unbelievably strict. So you know what party? As the president of HBO, he heard me say I forgot my badge, so he gave me his and got into all the party. Wow, he really been to some amazing places apparently. He's at, yes, I know. I corrected myself. Yeah. Richard Simmons, not Russell Simmons. My bad. You know, can you imagine if Def Jam did, you know, instead of Russell Simmons, Def Comedy Jam? It's like, now presenting Richard Simmons, Def Comedy Jam. Sorry. He was in a short. Oh, geez. That must have been. Yeah. He's a total deviant. All right, instead of having ERC20 Ethereum on Cosmos, you would have an IBC Ethereum token. Let me check this time real quick. All right, I'm still good on time. Richard Simmons has some great hair. Yeah, he had like a white man afro, you know. Another guy had a white man afro. Come on, who doesn't like this guy? All right. Bob Ross, right? Bob Ross, late great Bob Ross. I mean, that guy could just, but his painting, sometimes I'm just like, no, man, you don't need to add an extra little tree or a little bush here. It's perfect, man. Walk away from it. Anyway. Boomer Officer called Alicia Silverstone a BIA to her face. She was. When I was, God, man. I mean, when she was in Clueless, there was a poster. Because I had posters, you know what I mean? Like I had posters of like hip hop groups and some of my crushes. And she was definitely she was like one of my Hollywood crushes, if you will, you know? So like I had a poster of Aaliyah. I used to be in love with Aaliyah as a kid. I'm like, oh my God, Aaliyah. And then my other one was Alicia Silverstone as I got a little bit older because of Clueless. There was this poster I had. I'll show you guys the picture of it if you wonder what the poster was. Hold on. Alicia Silverstone. I had like Wu-Tang Clan. I had DPG. I had like, you know, the Chronic. I had all sorts of posters in my room. Anyway, Alicia Silverstone, Clueless poster. If I could find the exact one. It's one that kind of shows her from top to bottom. Let me see if I could pull this up real quick. It's like she got some of the stockings on. Where the heck is this? Well, I guess they don't show it, maybe because of copyright or whatever. They just don't show it. But anyway, let me see. Let me share this real quick. I mean, this is kind of like what the photo looks like, or the poster, but I mean, obviously it shows like the full shot. But I had a poster somewhat like this. All right, let me see if I copy the address. Yeah. And this was next to like Aaliyah, and then there was Wu-Tang Clan. There was a bunch of other stuff like, anyway, there was a bunch of other hip hop stuff, but I don't know, man. Part of my childhood. All right. Anyway. Alicia Silverstone, you know, and then oh man, like in my early 20s, it became Jessica Alba. Anyway, Tisha's on. All right, I guess we'll leave that up there for a bit, even though you call her a BIA. It's all right. I don't hold it against you. Maybe she really is one in real life, you know. All right, let's see where we're at in the comments. Oh man, where am I? Lou Diamond Phillips. Oh, okay. Let's see where we're going. Kind of went off the rails of the show here in a bit, but that's all right. Boom, how far are you from featuring Smith, Arkansas? Huh. Mr. Simmons, aka Mr. Shorts. Lou Diamond Phillips once said, "My fart was awesome." What? What? You farted into the mic in our warehouse and he was there. Wow. Boomer effing Sooner, the Babe Ruth of crypto. Do you have people pull your finger and you just let one rip, my friend? Boomer, you're awesome, man. You are one awesome dude. You are the one, the owner, one and only Mr. Boomer effing Sooner. You know what? I'm going to greet you next time tomorrow when I read your name. And I'm like, hey, welcome Tim Shea, Mayor Crypto, blah, blah, blah. Right? And when I get to you, when I say Boomer effing Sooner, I'll be like, boom, guys, let's pull Boomer effing Sooner's finger. Let one rip. That's horrible. 2 hours. When I go to my dad's okay, you're talking about Boomer. All right. You dance with Punky Brewster. I remember that show when I was a kid back in the 80s. Wow. Punky Brewster, you make your dreams come true. Oh my jeez. Oh gosh. All right. Yeah, tons of family, Oklahoma and Arkansas. Oh my gosh, I freaking love Bob Ross. Yes, Bob Ross was awesome. I used to. What the hell is that? What is that? You used to queef. Did I just say that out loud? What am I saying? Oh my god. I'm sorry. I don't think that's what you were trying to say, but that's how it came out. I apologize. God, that sounds bad. Yes, I just said used to queef. And that's not what I meant to say. You used to do something and pop. Pop. Never mind. I'm so sorry for saying the word queef. That's so bad. All right, I do see a super chat came in. My bad. Let me go further down. RP Bob Ross. Yeah, I miss him too. You met Leatherface and Michael Myers, Candyman. Oh, Candyman. I'd be freaking worried about Candyman. All right, Henry Brown, man. We referenced you earlier, man. We shared some of your your CTN sideline reporting about the whole thing about Africa and regulations and so on. We did a bunch of comparing and contrasting. Thank you for that, Mr. Henry Brown. Thank you for $2 super chat. He says, DBG Max, it's a doggy dog world. Name that album. Oh, come on, that's super easy. Doggy style, man. Snoop Doggy Dogg, doggy style. Come on, man. You gotta try harder than that. It's a doggy dog world. It's your world. Who was the group that was with him? Or what was the guy introduced him? He's like, up next we got Snoop Doggy Dogg in the dog pound. My name is Tadao. Yeah, I remember all that, man. I'm old school. I remember all that. God, who is that? That part I will look up. The song is Doggy Dog World. Hold on, Snoop Dogg featuring Snoop Dogg, Doggy Dog, the Dramatics. I knew it started with a D. Snoop Dogg featuring the Dramatics. That's right. That's a cool song. I like that song. In my opinion, that was his best album. His first album was his best album. And I hate to say all the rest kind of went downhill from there. But when he was featured, like with DPG, Dog Pound, and so on, good stuff. I mean, that song Original Gangsta with Daz Dillinger, Corrupt, Nate Dogg. That song's awesome. OG Original Gangsta. Amazing song. When he did work with 213, amazing. Dr. Dre, amazing stuff. But as far as just his own solo album, like, come on, man. People want to hear that doggy style album. You know what I mean? That feel, the Gin and Juice, the Doggy Dog World, oh God, especially Murder Was the Case. Murder Was the Case original was so much better than the remix they played in the music video, like on MTV and BET and all those other outlets. The original one, Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go further down. But thank you again for the super chat, Mr. Henry Brown. Robert Unglin was funny. Pinhead. Wow, you met a lot of famous dudes. And the fabulous dramatic. My name is Tadao. Yeah. Clive Barker. Doggy Style is still one of my favorite. Yeah, same here, man. That album is amazing. Let me pull that up real quick the song list. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style album. All right, let me just go through some of this. So this is like one of those albums in which you can pretty much listen to every song on it and it's good. So all right, yeah, Lottie Dottie was great. Lottie Dottie, We Lies to Polly. Murder was the Case. The original one was amazing. Oh yeah, obviously, Who Am I? What's My Name? You know, if you ever had the Death Row's Greatest Hits, the remix is pretty good. You know, it's like, Who Am I? You know, Who Am I? What's My Name? And then Daz Dillinger with the chorus, he'd be like, Snoop Dogg, Dog. Anyway, shout out to anybody who had Death Row's Greatest Hits. Where is this other one? Pump Pump, that was a cool song. That was a hardcore gangster song. But yeah, man, there's a lot of good. I mean, Lottie Dottie, that's one good song too. Murder Was the Case. I can't remember G's and Hustlers. I have to play that again. So that was at like 1, 2, 3. 4 with Gin and Juice. 5 with Doggy Dog World. Pump Pump would be 6. Yeah, man. I mean, at least 6 great songs on there. You know, cool stuff. All right. Let's go further down. Yeah, Snoop's first record was amazing. He should have allowed Daz Dillinger and also Dr. Dre to continue to make his beats for future albums. Was not the case. I did not like how Snoop shifted. I mean, I understand that he wanted to change the narrative of like going from like, you know, the gangster rap sound to, you know, like the Neptune sound, whatever. I wasn't a fan of like, you know, beautiful. I just want you to know, like that. That's not what I don't want to listen to that. You know, give me some of that pom, you know, and some of that, you know, Murder Was the Case, you know, and God, I mean, even featured with Dr. Dre, you know, woke up out of my cell, or was it with my homie Little Half did. What is it? Little Ghetto Boy. I mean, songs like that. I mean, of course that's out the chronic, but that's the sound we want. I don't get that about certain rappers. Like when they break away from, I need to break out into new horizons and experiment with other stuff. Nas is even guilty of that. I don't like that. Like I saw a song that came out like maybe about a year ago. It was Nas featuring ASAP Rocky and DJ Premier Gangstar. That song is awesome. I'm not a big ASAP Rocky fan, but that song is just, I love that song, right? You know, he's getting back to that 90s style thing. Like, why do some of these, you know, artists that we love and so on, why do they break away from that mold and try to, I want to experiment this new stuff? Okay, your record sales are going to be reflective of that in every single time without fail, unless the song is like incredibly annoying. You know, let's face it, there's annoying songs that are become hits that get played out. Seriously, don't believe me, look it up. Look how many annoying songs came out. I'm talking about like annoying chorus, just the song's annoying. And then, you know, those types, there's songs that just end up being those types of hits. Yeah, Lottie Dottie. Dr. Dre's The Chronic was maybe the most important rap record ever. Definitely up there, man. Definitely up there. You know, Rage, you know, with I Drop Bombs Like Hiroshima. I mean, anyway, so many good albums. Favorite stories going to the VOR room with Kato Kalin. Oh, wow. OJ's, you know, buddy back in the day. Wow. Cameron Dean and David Arquette. I think that's a typo. I think he meant Cameron Diaz, right? Viper. The Viper TV show with Pamela Anderson. Which song was Lady of Rage on? You already know the answer to that one. So that one was I Rock Ruffs and Stuffed with My Afro Pups. Yeah, rock on with your bad self. And that features Snoop. Yeah, I remember all these songs, man. Glad you know your hip hop, man. That's awesome. Boom. Oh my God, the Viper Room. Let's see your son. You're not referring to that TV show. Yeah, rock on with your bad self. Man, you guys know your hip. I love this, man. I love this. Welcome to Hip Hop Talk Now. We just turned that into this. I just, that wasn't for me, man. So I hear you, man. You know, if the pig's gonna give it to you, pocket like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. You know, I got my rollie on my wrist and I'm wearing Sean Jean. I got a big fat epic schlong because I got it going on. I'm a gangster with a nice queen, with Alicia Stone. She got a nice thing or something. I don't know. It's just weird. I didn't like Drop It Like It's Hot. And it got too outplayed. And then it became an annoying song. And now it's played all the time. Still. All right. Cool Cat. Fun fact, I got arrested for trying to steal the Chronic CD. Oh, that's funny. Well, you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Was it when you're a juvenile? Because, you know, there you go. All right. Boomer Officer says, I don't think so. River was already gone. My brother asked Diaz to marry him. Oh, wow. It was worth the risk. It was definitely worth the risk. Man, Cameron Diaz was pretty hot back. I'll say this. I think the hottest I ever seen her in the movie, Cameron Diaz, was in The Mask. She was freaking hot in The Mask. Anyway. All right. Henry Brown, Brian Dowie, LOG. Be hold it down since 22. Okay. Boomer F. Sooner says there was a documentary that came out on Netflix about Pamela Anderson. I gotta get going pretty soon because I gotta go pick up this kid because he needs to ride home. There was a documentary that came out on Netflix about Pamela Anderson. My brother is shown in it. I was right behind him, but didn't make the cut. Oh, you know what? I saw that picture you posted on Crypto Twitter. Yeah, I saw that. I always call it Crypto Twitter. You know, Twitter. Anyway. All right. Lady of Rage from the soundtrack Above the Rim. Pretty good soundtrack, you know. Remember Suge Knight accepting an award for the Above the Rim soundtrack? Yeah, everybody remembers that. If you don't want to be that guy is all up in the videos, come on over to Death Row. What was that? The Soul Train Awards? I think so. That's what caused a lot of this East Coast, West Coast nonsense. Let me kill somebody over music. My God. Unbelievable. Young teenager, you live and learn. Yeah. But in reality, bad time at Biggie Smalls. I mean, you come out with, you know, Who Shot Ya right after Tupac got, you know, shot multiple times at the Quad Studios in New York. And you come out with, you know, Who Shot Ya? Separate the weak from the opsa. Get all this bickering beef. The song, forget all that bickering beef. You know what I'm getting with. That was a great beat, by the way. Waiting for the show to be over to go to the dispensary. It's a good. You can go, man. We're just quoting some hip hop, man. We're gonna wrap things up here anyway in a bit. I did have a thing about Jasmine, but in reality, I'm not gonna be able to do it tonight. Oh, I waited for the Jasmine stuff all night long, Max. You're not gonna do it? Well, there's only like 20-something people, 19 people here. I mean, come on. I'll save it for another day. Keep Alicia Silverstone up there. My crush of when I was from like I think 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. That was my crush. Especially in the movie The Crush. Huh. Anyway. And I was allowed to have a crush on her at that point because I too was a minor. All right. At that point. Brian now he says Pam Anderson made a cool movie on a boat. You got check it out. Yeah, man. I would say it was an epic fail disappointment on that one. That Bitcoin's algorithm and the NSA created it. Let's read a couple more and we'll wrap things up. Saw Brian, the security guard at the distributor, is working for a ton of copies. Rosie Perez was a hottie. She was. She definitely was. Even in White Man Can't Jump. Yep. Bitcoin does so much more than people understand. You mean BSV, but I know you just call it Bitcoin. That's okay. Nice boomer. All right, last comment. I'll never forget him walking in with a bag full of VHS tapes unmarked, playing Santa Claus. who was this again? Hold on, let me go further up. The security guard at the distributor I was working on got a ton of copies. Okay. Never forget him walking in with a bag full of VHS unmarked playing Santa Claus. Did Pam's movie involve a giant snake? Oh, jeez. Yeah, Bitcoin can play movies, games, move, money, protocol, contracts, and then some. Do the right thing. Yeah, a lot of good movies back then, man. Juice was a good movie too. Okay. All right, that's gonna wrap things up. Thank you guys again for being here. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow around 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, give or take. Hopefully. I cannot pull up Boomer. I cannot pull up that comment just in case, YouTube has a hissy fit, but appreciate you guys. And, we didn't get to share the last bit of content, but it's okay. You guys at least had some fun talking about hip hop and some, college girls gone wild, blankety blank tapes. So you guys have a great night. Know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. We'll see what's going on with the market by tomorrow. I think we definitely need to pay attention to, the other side of the world that's going to be waking up or already are waking up. And we'll see what happens within these last few days, especially by Friday. Just give you guys a heads up. The fear ingredient index shows that we're at 63. Is it going to increase or is it going to fall back a little bit more? How much longer do we have for the accumulation phase? We'll see. All right, going to wrap it up. Have a great one, you guys. And I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Give me a follow on Twitter. Some of you guys are already doing that. And if you're a person that's just listening or not in the comments, you can follow me at DPG Maximus. I'll try to put out some content for you guys, recording and so on. We'll go from there. See you back tomorrow, roughly around 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm outie. Bye-bye.